to another brand new live stream. And I'm just going to do another testing for a minute, so give me a second. Testing, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? This is Devin-Foxy with Mastered speaking. Can you guys hear me? Let me try to turn on the mic and off. Let me turn it off again. Alright, so far I turned it off, and I'm not sure if the signal bars are doing pretty well, but hopefully the signal bars is either going to stay at 2 or 3. So if you guys can hear me in this live stream while doing so, then let me know again in the chat so that way I'll be able to get a response from hopefully anybody can like help me out a little bit to see, if you guys can hear the audio or not, just to depend on to see if the signal bars don't do anything stupidly, but I just hope the signal bars are going to do fine, and I hope it pretty much stays fine around 2% of the signal bars of 3, which I hope it just stays at the signal bar of 2 or 3 that actually hits up a little bit, or even hits 4, but hopefully it actually does hit it pretty well, but let's just find out and see. Let's just find out and see if something actually does pretty well and impressively to kind of do something, but I hope we'll see what happens, and I hope to see what goes on anyway. So, as without further ado, this is Devin-Foxy with Mastered speaking, and here we are in another live stream, which of course we're going to do something fun for those who want to actually know by any chance anyway. We're just going to do something fun. We're going to do quick chats part 10, and I just hope that, however, in this scenario, only in part 10, I just hope that part 10 is going to be a live stream, and I just hope at this point in time again in day that I just hope the live stream of part 10 does pretty well and does pretty impressive. So, as I can say this already before, if you guys can hear me in the chats, by the way, please let me know, because at this point I can't, physically just type the chats, by the way, because for those who might ask me this question by saying, oh, why can't you just, just physically just type in the chats? Well, first on, let me go ahead and say it. A, I can't use the chats, by the way, because of course I have to use the laptop for that, because I know that's a little different as I explained it. Two, it's because whenever I'll look at the chats anyway, it means that I'll have to look into the chats, because I can't use the chats because, of course, I can't use the laptop for it, which it does pain my ass anyway for that. So just please be respectful as I'm trying to, give you guys the explanation of why that I can't, somehow use the chats anyway. So that's probably why I'm just telling you guys that already. So if you guys can hear my voice through my phone, by the way, if you guys can hear me through my voice on my phone to you guys, if you guys can hear me, then please say yes. If you guys can hear me in the chats, by the way, just hear me in the chat. So if you guys can hear me, let me know and give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. But just say anything in the chat so that way you guys can hear me, so that way I'll continue talking. So if you guys can hear me, let me know. So that way I'll be able to be notified and actually will be able to check on the chats. So if you guys can tell me, let me know. All right. Okay. One person said yes. Thank you, by the way, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to say thank you, dude. Thank you. Thank you for typing the word yes in the chat. Thank you. And also, if we get enough yeses, by the way, if you guys get more yes in the chat, by the way, you guys can hear me, then yeah, keep on telling me if you guys can hear me more. So that's all I want to say. And I actually do want to appreciate one person, by the way, who actually said yes, by the way. Thank you, by the way. The person's name is DONNIETITUS 242447. Yeah, so, yeah, thank you, by the way, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it, dude. Really appreciate it. Actually letting me know, by the way. Totally appreciate it. Alright, so, anyway, let me go ahead and read the next part of the chat. So, it says, the next one says, you suffering from what? What does that supposed to mean? Okay. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, by the way. You suffering from male pattern baldness? Am I brain dead here? Am I really brain dead here at this point? I mean, do you guys see my hair? Like, do you think my hair is staying on my head? Yes. And I actually am not having baldness, by the way. For those who can actually correct this person, by the way, so please tell me just to correct this person, by the way, full understandingly, by the way, that bro, since when did my hair actually got bald? My hair wasn't even bald. I mean, if my hair was actually bald, I would have been in my 60s. I would have been in my 60s or 70s. Like, really? Really? Me suffering from baldness? No, that's incorrect, buddy. That's incorrect. I mean, that is absolutely incorrect. Seriously, again, it's incorrect. Like, can you not actually tell two differences that my hair is actually always stayed on my head? Like, it actually has stayed on my head. That's all I actually have to say. That if I was, if I was bald, by the way, just want to let you know, if I was bald, then pretty much again, I would have been in my 60s or 70s. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm saying, just to kind of say that info, that answer, is if I was bald, I would have been 60 or 70 years old, which I'm clearly am not, by the way. So it means I'm still in my younger time. So that's all I'm saying. And that's just in a story. And the person says, um, yeah, I'm not really going to even say that answer. Okay. I'm not trying to get mad here. I'm not trying to get mad, and I try to stay being less mad here, but let me say this. Okay. The person says, "How long have you been gay?" The answer is that how about the answer is no. The answer is that I actually am not gay. Like Jesus Christ. Like dude, do you not see yourself? Do you not actually see yourself in the mirror and start seeing like a person who isn't gay? Like, seriously, for those who might say this question, no, I am not GAY. I'm not that kind of physical answer. Like, dude, like, seriously, I am literally straight. Like, I literally am a straight person. I literally am straight. Like, I like women. That's all I said. I literally like women. That's all I said. And also, at least I have a preference. Like, at least I have a preference, alright? That's all I said. Like, can we just like move on to the topic to something fun besides something negative, please? Like, please. Just for the word of please right now today. Let's just do something fun like quick chats. That's all I'm asking. It has nothing to do with myself having negativity. I'm just saying that we need to do something that is less negative. That's it because I've been trying to chill out. You know, I'm not trying to get mad anyway. It's just that I don't want to have the same repeated answer in part 9 that gives me a lot of, anxiety because I've actually had suffered anxiety a lot of times because it isn't a joke. It literally isn't a joke. I literally had anxiety. That's it. Like, there's just nothing to say anything about saying something about anxiety or stuff. It just scares the crap out of me. That's it. So, anyway, let's just get straight to the point. Anyways, let's just get on to this. So, as for now, exactly, go ahead and take a look here. All right, so the person said that said was okay. Thanks for being respectful, by the way. Thanks for being respectful. And yeah, I'm trying to chill out, man. I'm just trying to chill out. It's just that sometimes with me, I always have anxiety that I'm just trying to avoid all the time. That I'm just trying to avoid either like not getting cold or just having a fear that actually lived in my soul for a lot of times. That's it. Anyways, let's just get to the point. Okay, so the person said, "Did you know U.S. Iran are on dispute again?" Well, the answer is that yes, I've already saw that happen. Which, yeah, that's actually pretty insane. Which, not gonna lie, it actually is pretty insane. Not gonna lie, which Yeah, it is pretty insane that I somehow again just don't expect, which I was really not expecting it, but I was like, okay, well, I was like, damn, that's nuts. Like, damn, that is pretty nuts. Let me just go ahead and just take a look. This feels like a script. Feels like a seat, like a seat. Um, Let me just take a look here in this chat for a minute. Bro, really worried, seriously worried, you should consult someone. You don't seem fine. Dude, all I'm just trying to say, by the way, is that, okay, I'm trying to just not have anxiety. That's all I'm trying to avoid, okay? Like, for those who just don't get it, it's just that, dude, have you not heard of anxiety? It's all I'm having right now. It's just that, I'm just trying to be fine. I'm just trying to have a bit less stress a little bit and just have a bit, it's all I'm just trying to say, dude. It's just that I really am trying a little bit of not having anxiety as much because it either is a that I just have anxiety and yada yada yada. It's just that I have a fear that I've always had in my life. So, for those who don't understand my story, it's just that I really had suffered anxiety for real. It's just that it isn't a joke. It really actually isn't a joke, or for whatever exactly it really is. Bruh, seriously, did you just told me to actually smoke some weed? Dude, what in the fuck are you talking about? Bro, like, it's a reason I say I literally am against smoking weed. I'm literally am against that, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't help anybody's concern. It just kills the lungs. What? Oh my fucking god, dude. Dude. Like, dude, I'm just saying is that it doesn't work for anybody. It kills the lungs. Like, what are you even on about? Telling me to go smoke some weed? The answer is that no. It kills people's lungs. Exactly, as I just said again, it kills the lungs, which I don't actually like. Because seriously, the only thing I've actually remembered about was that, for example, imagine saying this answer is that if a person that has a cigarette that was like next to me, by the way, I can't stand that shit. Like, I can't stand it. Like, seriously, if I sniff it from my nose, I literally cough the freaking hell out of it because I really don't like it. Because, dude, it really isn't cool. I just don't like that stuff. Anyway, let's just get straight to the point anyway. And for those again, let's just get straight to the quick chats exactly. Let's just get straight into this anyway. Since, well, I just want to have a good day a little bit and just have a bit of a good morning a little bit for now. So, anywho, yeah, let's go ahead and do some quick chats as of right now. And for now, exactly, let's just go ahead and continue what we're going to do exactly in part 10 of quick chats. So, anywho, let's go ahead and do that. And oh, yeah, for those who want to answer me some questions, by the way, feel free again to let me know in the chats so that way I'll be able to read some of the bit of the questions. For usually what we always do in every quick chats or every live stream that we do or whatever exactly, just feel free to just give me some positivity, not negativity, so that way that we can continue a bit of our good day, a little bit of this morning, and just kind of a good time and just see what happens anyway, but whatever. So let's go ahead and do that. So, as of now, all I can say exactly is I'm just gonna go ahead and just get my bathrobe for a little bit for a minute, so that way I'll just be able to get a little warm for a little bit. So usually, as I said before, I might just try to like get a little bit of a cool down a little bit for a second. So let me go ahead and get that for a minute. So be right back. Hold on, hold on a sec. I'm just gonna go ahead and get something for a minute. All right, hold on a minute. Come here, bathrobe. Come here. Come here. All right, there's my bathrobe. Finally got that out. And I'm gonna close that for a minute. There we go. Give me a second while I go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and do that for a minute. So be right back. All right. Give me a second. Give me a minute. All right, there we go. There we go. Almost done. Almost done. All right, I'm back, everybody. I'm back. I'm definitely back. Yep. Once again, folks, I'm back. Definitely back. Oh, what the hell did I press? Oh, sorry, remote. Sorry, did not meant to touch you for a minute. Did not meant to sit right now. But anyways, we're back, everybody. So anyway, this is definitely my bathrobe I'm wearing, by the way. So for those who didn't know, I'm actually wearing a bathrobe, which I could have done that by the way in the beginning, which I could have probably would have done that, but hey, I guess well, at least I grabbed it anyways. That actually would give me a bit, some less anxiety. I'm just trying to not give a bit shivers by the way, but hey, at least I finally got the bathrobe anyway. So yeah, at least I'm gonna have the bathrobe back on, which that's pretty good. So as of now, let's just go ahead and enjoy ourselves for quite a time for just doing this live stream. So let's go ahead and do that. And oh yes, what I could probably just say right now is that okay, so let's just get straight to the point, shall we? The person says, "Crack where?" Why are we talking about crack? Why are we actually talking about that anyways? Like, okay, the question is irrelevant, by the way, for those who are asking in the chat, by the way, by saying is like, crack. Where's the crack? I'm going to be saying is like, yeah. If I'd say this correctly, we're not talking about crack. Since when are we talking about it? We're not actually talking about crack. Like, we're not even talking about it anyways. Like, can we just, like, focus on a positivity or something? Like, a positivity question? Like, a positivity question would be saying is like, oh, how are you doing? Or whatever you're doing so far. But, that's the positivity question that we could actually be talking about by now. Is besides actually having a bit of an irrelevant question that does not actually include like a negativity question by saying is like, oh, where's the crack? I'm gonna say is like, bro, there is no crack. We're talking on the live stream. Like there's gonna be zero talk about the crack. Like, okay. So, anyways, as of now, let's just go straight ahead and just say is that, oh, for how I'm doing so far, let's just say that I've actually been doing pretty okay so far. I definitely had breakfast a little bit. Well, typically I just did have breakfast, by the way. Just for me having an orange juice, by the way, since, well, it is a good thing to kind of orange juice a little bit, just to kind of have a little bit of my energy kind of going. By the way, just have a bit of energy to keep going a little bit, just to say is like, yeah, I think from my energy a little bit actually is quite okay, I guess, since, well, yeah, I guess we're gonna just say that I've actually had a bit of some energy a little bit, just to kind of like revive myself a little bit. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna kind of say, which is actually a pretty good thing. So pretty much. And oh yeah, the next person in the chat I was gonna look, by the way, before I didn't even had a little bit of anxiety for now. It's just that I did read the chat. Said the person that actually said hi was Trucker Dale Z3 3I. What's up, Dale? What's up, Trucker Dale? What's up, Trucker Dale Z3I? What's up? Like, what's up, man? Like, what's up, dude? Like, what's going on, dog? Like, what's going on, dude? Yeah, what's going on, man? What's up? But yeah, that's pretty much my word of me saying hi to the person in the chat, by the way. That was definitely Trucker Dale Z3I. That I was gonna say so in the chat, but I definitely said a good hi to the person anyway, but alright then. So, anyways, yeah, so if you guys do like my bathrobe that I'm actually am wearing, by the way, then yeah, it is actually what I look like when I'm wearing my bathrobe. Like, for example, my bathrobe is pretty good, which, I always use somehow to use my bathrobe a little bit since, well, it kind of depends if I get cold in here a little bit. Just depends if I get cold in here, which, trust me. I mean, I've always had to survive the cold or survive the warmth a little bit, either way exactly, which, I actually do attempt to kind of survive on different things, by the way. Either depends on how the temperature is. So that's how basically I survive it a little bit and just kind of get a little bit warm from here and there just to get a little bit warmth and just kind of feel warmth a little bit and just see how it runs, test it a little bit. So that's what I can say. Yo, the person said hi. All right. So the person said hi. And I'm going to definitely look in the chat here. So the person's name that said hi was REGINACALLAHAN 4119. What's up, dude? Like, what's up? Like, how's it going, bro? Like, how's it going? And oh yeah, for anybody else exactly that does enjoy this live stream, feel free again to definitely enjoy more live streams like this exactly. Which, as I said before, I don't intently do live stream too often, but I actually have to say I do a bit of live streams somewhat often, a little bit since well, I do kind of focus on other things with other videos nowadays. Since I actually was focusing on different content I was doing, which it may stay the same or may actually stay the same as usual, but at least I'm doing something, by the way. At least I'm doing something, most likely online as usual nowadays, which, at least I'm doing something, by the way. At least I actually am doing something to make more videos, which that's actually a good sign. So, yeah, at least it's a good sign. And oh, yeah, before anybody does ask, by the way, is that for those who definitely had checked, my last video was about WWE 2K29 thing. Yeah, that topic was pretty interesting, by the way. That topic was pretty interesting, by the way. Like, for me, by the way, I've never even talked about that topic already, which, by any chance, I have never even talked about once about that topic. That actually seemed pretty different, which it did seem pretty different by seeing the facts by saying is like, oh, pretty much how like two different concepts are in a different time zone, which is just likely a different fact about like basically about the rain exactly. So yeah. Yo, what's up, little nugget? Yo, what's up, bro? What's freaking up, dude? Like, hey, what's up, little nugget GD Roblox? What's freaking up, man? What's going on, dude? You just made it right on time. Like you made it on time, man. Congratulations. Like congratulations, you're back. Congratulations. Like, oh my, yes, up. Yeah, sorry. I actually was not meant to hit whatever I was going to hit, by the way, but what's up, little nugget GD Roblox? Like, man, thanks for coming, bro. Thanks for definitely coming. Now, anyways, as I was going to say, an interesting topic about WWE 2K25. So, for those who definitely have heard about that game, man, that game, by the way, is the legit interesting game I ever heard. Which, for those who didn't know, by the way, yeah, I actually had definitely watched a YouTube video on it, by the way. And recently I did watch it, by the way, back to the time when I was going to definitely watch it. Like, man, when I was watching the Elimination Chamber or just like an ordinary fight exactly that's in the ring, like you can only allow 7 or 8 people in the fight exactly or whatever that's just on like, oh, that appears on the bottom of the screen, which it makes sense eventually. And the person says YW. All right, thank you, thank you. Anyway, so what was pretty interesting that I didn't see, by the way, which was actually pretty interesting that I did see that, oh my god, like, imagine this. Like, imagine if, like, a man was facing a woman in the game. I'm talking about the game. For those who might actually would know exactly, it was only from a game. But the actual game of, like, oh, I don't know. Just pretty much considering of the game that was either pretty much of WWE 2K2025, which, that is technically a thing exactly which I never expected. I was like, geez, that was like very unexpected. That was like pretty unexpected, as I would say so for myself. That I was like, yeah, pretty unexpected, I would say. Pretty unexpected, which is pretty insane. So I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like, that's typically crazy. So, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And I was like, wow, that's new. That's never what I never seen before. But, I never seen that. Let me look it down the chat here. Why is Little Nugget GD Roblox being hidden away or even timed out, by the way? So can anybody please tell me why did he got timed out, by the way? Like Roblox, Little Nugget GD Roblox, well, he didn't do anything, by the way. He didn't do anything. Like, why did somebody actually consider like timing him out or even hitting him, by the way? Like, okay, so why did he actually get timed out, by the way? What did he do? Like, you know, the person said he said you. Oh my god. Oh my god, this shit again. Like, this typical shit again. Bro, how many times do I have to say this question? I am straight. Like, I am actually into girls. Like, I don't know why people for some reason just don't take it pretty oftenly by saying is like, not respecting my preferences or respecting what I respect. Like, dude, I actually love about girls. The girls that I love and the girls I care that I basically say again is like, dude, I literally am straight. Like, I'm into girls. I'm in like to their like like something that actually something I wouldn't want to say on YouTube because somehow I might get my mouth zipped anyway. But all I'm trying to say, bro, is that I'm literally am into that shit because I'm literally into like women. Because for some reason I say this that yes, I actually am, and I've always been am exactly. So there's a question. And Little Nugget GD Roblox said, I know, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. Common sense. Common sense. Ding, 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 ding. Man, you, by the way, have good common sense, by the way, man. Totally common sense. And I thank you, by the way, Little Nugget GD Roblox. Thank you. I want to give him a thumbs up right there. Totally, again, thumbs up. Absolutely thumbs up. Like, this is exactly what I said, by the way, is that if people don't kind of understand my preferences, by the way, then what's actually the point of being here exactly? Which is just disrespectful in many ways. It's just like, bro, that's so disrespectful, dude. That is actually so disrespectful. Like, how about if somebody says that to somebody else? Like, dude, how is that okay? Like, how's that actually okay? Like, that is so stupid. That is literally the stupidest thing I would ever heard. Which that is so stupid. Like typically stupid. Like I'd say that every time whenever I'd say this, like, oh, whatever is going to be like an impression I was going to do today, but unfortunately I wasn't going to do that because due to anxiety I was having a little bit earlier. But Jesus freaking Lord, like seriously, can anybody just have a nice time a little bit in the stream for once, please? Like, can anybody actually have common sense a little bit? Like, the person actually who had common sense was definitely Little Nugget GD Roblox, which I totally give him a thumbs up and respect. Absolutely, once again, thumbs up respect. Once again, thumbs up respect. So, that's all I can say right there and right now. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and get straight back to the topic anyway. That for those again who definitely by the way got the game by the way of WWE 2K25, then let me know again in the chat by the way if you guys actually have that game. So tell me again in the comments or in the chat by the way, just to kind of let me know by any ways and by any chance for those who definitely got that game. Which for me by the way, I never even got the game yet, but I might actually be looking forward to get that game because yeah, it's pretty insane, bro. Like, it's pretty insane. Like, imagine a man was fighting a woman in a ring, which is just freaking crazy, man. That's just like freaking crazy. Like, it's literally pretty crazy. So, that's pretty much what my opinion would probably be. It's just like, holy freaking smokes. Like, it's just holy smokes. But yeah, let me go ahead and read the chat. So, Little Nugget GD Roblox said, thank you. You're welcome, brother. You're definitely welcome. Exactly. Isn't that illegal? No, 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 no. It's from the game, by the way. It's from the game. If you didn't notice, by the way, it's from WWE 2K23. And it's only from the game. And it isn't illegal by any chance. For those, again, who don't notice, by the way, it was from the game. Not real life, just from the game, just from the game. That's all I'm saying. It's just from the game, just to kind of get a little bit some sense a little bit and say that it's just from the game. It isn't about real life for those again who do or don't notice. It's just from the game. It isn't real life. It was from the game. Because I mean, yes, that probably would be technically illegal if that was in real life exactly, but it was only from the game. Just from the game of WWE 2K25. That's it. Just want to actually refresh anybody's memory about that question. So there's your typical question. And Little Nugget GD Roblox said, "Oh, all right. Well, yeah. There's a question, by the way. That definitely explained and definitely completely explained. So there you go. Now, anyways, as I was going to kind of go on about here exactly of today of Quick Chats Part 10 is that, what I was actually been thinking about a little earlier a little bit was just about discovering something I was going to do was just that, well, for what I was going to do exactly, it's just that let's just say is that for me exactly, I was going to kind of say that I was going to bring the PS4 stuff over here. I was going to show you guys another interesting collection of the PS4 games that I've actually been wanting to kind of do a little bit on the stream, but unfortunately, I guess we're gonna kind of save that conversation in part 11 or something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would say already. So for those again who might want to see that, by the way, of the PS4 collection stuff on the live stream version of this, well, it's gonna probably be fortunately be in part 11 pretty soon, or in fact, it's gonna be saved for a little later in part 11. So yeah, part 11 exactly is going to probably be a bit saved. So who knows? Like, who really knows, for an example? Like, who really knows? So, anywho, yeah, that's what I have to say exactly in part 10, by the way, is that I think I would consider saying this, by the way, that the PS4 games are going to be considered, that I'm going to actually be getting, by the way, is definitely going to be in part 11 of the live stream, at part 11, which I do have some good PS4 games, by the way, for those who might ask me by saying is like, oh, how many interesting PS4 games do I got? Well, as I said, by the way, that remains pretty secret, by the way. That remains pretty secret, by the way. That will be considered in part 11 in the next time, or if I actually don't have anxiety, by the way, that's when I might be able to kind of get straight back to the PS4 games, by the way, and actually show you guys those on screen, by the way, on my phone for the first time, which is going to be the phone version of the live stream I'll consider doing. So if you guys want to see part 11, then smash the huge like buttons. Hit the like buttons that I'll do an interesting England accent by saying is like, "Oh, good sire, please go ahead and hit the like button. Yay for good sire. Where's the like buttons, my good gentleman man?" Yeah, that's a good impression I did. So, yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of a funny joke here a little bit, but yeah, it was kind of funny as AF. Yeah. Yep, that was funny. That was AF. That was so AF right there. Woohoo! Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason I might do pretty good accents a little bit for something like that. How hilarious it might sound a little bit, but god damn. Man, hilarious. Hilarious. Woo! Like holy moly. Like freaking holy jolly 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 moly. Woo! I would love to do that again, but unfortunately, I probably would save it a little bit later next time. But all right, maybe I might do another one. All right, maybe I might do another one by saying it's like, "Hello, good jolly sir. How about more likes, please, so we can get more good likes in here." Oh yeah, that one was pretty funny. I'd say it's like based as FUCK. Yeah, no, most likely I don't do the accent anyway, but I think it was kind of a bit of an entertaining joke, which even in fact the other person actually liked the Karate Guy impression I did back, by the way, back in part 8, by the way, which, oh my god, for those who didn't watch part 8, by the way, Man, I did one hell of a good karate guy's voice. For some reason, it actually cracked me up even more a little bit by actually loving that part, which was just so freaking funny. Which I'll tell you guys, it is actually pretty funny. I laughed to that a lot. Which that, by the way, was just holy freaking god. Yeah, that one, by the way, cracked me up. All right, let me see if I can still do the Karate Guy's impression by saying, he's like, "Hello, I'm back. I'm the Karate Guy. Whoa, I'm bringing back already, Mr. Master. I'm already back, Master. Where are you, Master? Where's my karate belt, Master?" Fucking God. Yeah, man, that Karate Guy actually cracks me up a lot. Which I don't know why how good I did that voice, but Jesus. For some reason, it got a lot good to kind of laugh to that. So, for those who like that Karate Guy impression, Jesus Christ. Good damn. Like, I do really good at that voice. Too funny and too good. Oh, man. All right, let me see if I can do something pretty funny for you guys so that way you guys can get entertained a little bit by watching more good impressions I do. But let me go ahead and do something. Let me see if I can do a Karate Guy's impression again by actually saying is like something random I could probably do, but let me see if I could do something random. "Hello, I'm the Karate Guy. Where's me cookies? Where's me cookies? I need some cookies. Where's my cookies and milk?" Oh my God. Mr. Karate Guy, there's no cookies or milk. Like we don't sell that in a store. Yeah, that by the way is entertaining of ironic. Is super funny. All right, let me go ahead and read the next part of the chat here. So let me go ahead and read this. So the person says, "Hi. All right, what's up, man? What's up?" The person's name is CATA Adams, F3E. All right. Welcome to the live stream, by the way. Welcome to the live stream, Cat A Adams, F3E. Congratulations for coming into the live stream. And yeah, definitely consider congratulations. All right, so the next person that was GUMADROR 55. Yeah, what's up, by the way? What's up? And also, what's up? And Little Nugget GD Roblox said was PUEUMPONICORIS. Jesus, that's a long word. That's a long word. What is that word? Like, that is like a long word I ever seen. Like, man, that is a long word. Holy moly, I never even seen that long word before. Like, man, for some reason, I really don't know what that actually even is. The longest one. I know it is. Like, can you tell me what that is, by the way, Little Nugget? GD Roblox. Can you tell me what that is, by the way? Which, man, for once, I never even seen that long word before. Like, man, that's super long. Like, that's like the longest one to go for a Google search. Like, dang. Oh, it's a lung disease. Oh, I see. Oh, I get it now. It's a lung disease. All right. That actually makes a lot of long sense. That makes lots of sense now, since I actually can see what that even means now. But damn. Damn, man. Like, damn, dude. That's a long word. And I'd say that, yeah, that actually does make sense to tell me other ways that says lung disease. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. That actually does make a lot of sense, but all right, fair enough, fair enough. Oh, and this one's even a longer word now. Okay, what does this say now? This says HIPPOPOTOMNSTROSSES QUIPPEDALO Ilophophobia. Holy God, that's a long word. Like, yeah, that's a longer word. Pretty much the first one was even longer than the second one was. Like, that's pretty long. Like, what does that even mean? Like, that's a good question, by the way. That's a very good question. That's like a very long word. Of long words. The word. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, that's so hard to memorize these longer words anyway. Like, geez, that's super long. Like, that is super long, like a Google search. Like, that's freaking long to type it. Like, imagine going on a Google search, by the way, and typing that long word. That's just insane. That's crazy. Like, that's even a lot that I can't even calculate. Oh, yeah, there's even another longer word, too. Ah, yes, another one. That is Super CALIFRAGISTICADOCIOUS. Nuts. That's interesting. Wow. Longer words that I never expected before, but I guess I'll try to memorize it anyway and kind of looked at it for myself, by the way. Any chance otherwise that I might actually take a look on that once I get the chance to look that up on Google, by the way, after the end of the live stream. That, man, that is interesting long words I ever heard, which I never even seen any of those before. I never even seen once any of those before, which yeah, I guess that makes sense now. That totally makes a lot more sense to actually know, which makes a lot of sense now. It really does. So, anywho, yeah. So, as you can say, anyways, that damn, that's like longer words I ever expected, which I just really don't even see longer words as often. I just never seen any longer words than completely oftenly, which that's so long, bro. That's like very long one I ever seen, which that's pretty long. So, anyways, yeah. So, anywho, I was going to kind of say, anyways, is if you guys do like the Karate Guy's impression of how I do it, by the way, exactly, then oh my goodness, man, that was actually pretty funny. Like, that was actually very funny. So, for those who want to see more Karate Guy a little bit again, then yeah, I'll actually consider bringing him back again for no reason. But yeah, for some reason, I told him to get out of here anyway, which he already did. So, yeah, for some reason, he won't probably be coming back a little sooner, a little bit somewhere in the, oh, I don't know, maybe probably in the live stream or something like that whenever he comes back. But, Jesus, that impression I did was a killer one. It was a pretty good killer one, exactly. It was pretty funny. So, for those who want to actually do the Karate Guy impression I might do again, then yeah, I might consider bringing him back. But for now, I guess I'll consider leaving him alone now. But anyway, for now, exactly. All right. So, anyways, I actually do want to let you guys know, by the way, is that for those who didn't notice earlier, by the way, that I actually was working on the PS4 earlier, that I actually did work on the PS4. And guess what, folks? Guess what? The PS4, by the way, was finally hooked up. It was finally hooked. Which, of course, it wasn't hooked to the TV just yet. It was only hooked up by the back part of the pretty much the cords, by the way. It was all hooked up in the cords exactly, which is actually a good thing, by the way. I was like, oh man, that's good. That's really good. Which I wasn't really expecting to know how the PS4 honestly was actually considered kind of working, by the way. But I did figure it out a little bit in my brain a little bit. I was like, man, I really need to figure all those out, which actually was a good thing a little bit. And I actually did use my phone as a light, by the way, just to kind of look on the back exactly of the cords, which I definitely looked back a little bit. And I was like, oh, so that's how I do in there. That's how I do that. That's how I do it. Gotcha. Which I was looking through a lot of good results a little bit earlier, that I was looking on some interesting results a little bit. And it actually did made a lot of sense and it actually did work. I was like, yes, let's go. Like, let's freaking go. Like, for real, man. I actually did. So, anyways, I can definitely show you guys the PS4, by the way, that I'll actually give you guys another interesting test of what it does, by the way. Once I do turn it on exactly, then it's going to automatically turn on itself, and then I'll actually consider returning it off a little bit. So, man, that actually did actually work, which I was like, finally, the PS4 worked, which it definitely worked for once. So, as of now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an interesting demonstration a little bit and definitely show you guys how the PS4 did work, by the way, when I was using the cords earlier, by actually using the PS4 cords that I was actually using when I was back at my dad's house while I was actually using it, by the way, and it actually made a lot of sense. So, let's go ahead and give you guys an interesting test of seeing when the PS4 actually does turn on and back off a little bit. And also, it is pretty interesting by actually hearing a different noise. You know, I did look on an interesting noise earlier on the Xbox, by the way, and it made one hell of an interesting sound, by the way. Like, you know, when there's like no disc in there, it actually made a very interesting sound. So, as of now, let's go ahead and give you guys an interesting test to show you, so that way I'll actually show you guys already. So, let me go ahead and show it to you guys for a second. So, all right, here we go. Here we go, everybody. Here we on go. So, anyway, it is time we go ahead and show you guys an interesting test here that I'm going to show you guys on the Xbox what the interesting sound looks like. So, give me a sec. All right, so here it is, everybody. There's my Xbox. There it is. All right, so as for the same routine on the Xbox right here, let me go ahead and do an interesting noise for you guys right here. See? It made a noise right here. Watch. See? It actually made a noise right there. So, for those who didn't know that noise, by the way, it actually was the Xbox. Because, you know, it actually makes one hell of a noise that actually would mean that it probably doesn't have a DVD in there or has like a game disc in there. So, that's probably why that the disc isn't even in there. So, that's pretty much why. So, let me go ahead and read the chat. My phone is about to die. Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Well, I hope that you do find a charger, by the way, Little Nugget, GD, Roblox. I hope that you do find a charger, by the way, so you can continue watching the video of the live stream. But I hope that you can definitely check the cords, by the way, that you can find for a charger. So if you definitely do find a charger, let me know, by the way, so that way you can continue watching. So, anyways, for now, everybody, that is what the Xbox sounds like, by the way, is that, you know, once I do turn on the Xbox, by the way, it actually makes one interesting noise that I actually was doing this, by the way, when I was turning it back on and off. It means that there was like no game disc that was not actually considered being in the Xbox, so that's probably why it made one interesting noise. So, anyway, time to sit down, and I'm going to show you guys the PS4 for a minute. So, as of now, I'm going to go ahead and as for now, I'm going to definitely count to 5 and show you guys the PS4. So, here it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and count the word to 4 or 5 exactly. I'm going to count to 5 anyway, but here it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And here it is, folks. This, by the way, is the PS4. Look at this. This is the PS4, everybody. Look at this amazing PS4. Holy freaking moly. Holy moly sauce. Holy moly. Yeah, holy the moly. Holy the moly, the moly, the moly. Yeah, for real, by the way, I'm still funny as hell, but man, it's hilarious. Yeah, this, by the way, guys, is my very PS4 I got right there. That is my PS4, folks. Look at that. PS4. Look at this color. Like, look at this, everybody. This is what it looks like when it's actually off. Like, look at these colors right there. It actually reminds me of an orange yellow color. It actually reminds me of a orange yellow color. Like, this, by the way, is actually almost a part of like almost a bit of orange, a bit of yellow. Like, that actually is a cool color to begin with. That is actually a very cool color. So, I really don't mind the color, by the way, when it's actually off. I don't really mind the color, but yeah, that color actually is pretty cool. That color is sick. It's looked pretty good. So, anyway, here's a test for you guys about the PS4 when I turn it on. So watch. I'm gonna do it anyway, starting in 3, 2, 1, 0. Watch. Look at that. It turned blue. Look at that, it turned blue. Like, look at that. It turned blue. Man, that, by the way, is cool. Like, look at that. It actually had turned blue. And this, by the way, well, most likely that, however, exactly, that it does usually charge, by the way. However, with a PS4 controller, that it actually does, quite magically, does turn on with, like, the same orange color as usual. I think it was like an orange-yellow color again, so that is pretty much why it definitely turns it like that. And oh, yes, this, by the way, look at that. Look at this interesting color. It's actually a bit of a whitish color. Like, look at this. Like, look at this interesting color. I like it. Like, look at how interesting that color looks. Like, holy God, that color looks cool. Like, it goes all the way right at the end over here. It goes right at the end over here. That actually is very cinema. That actually looks good. I like it. Like, that actually looks good. I really do. Anyway, so let me go ahead and show you guys when I do this for a second, when I actually do this button right here. So watch. Man, that, by the way, is another interesting sound I actually liked right here about the PS4. It makes a different noise when it goes like ding 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 ding. Like, oh my God, that sound actually looks cool. That sound actually looks different when I normally never even heard of a sound like that, which it does explain again that actually has to be in a PS4 game disc, so that's probably why. So, that's all I had to let you guys know about. So, watch as I turn this off right here. All right, hold on, let me turn this off for a sec. There it goes. There it goes. Watch when it goes off, folks. Watch. And here it goes. It's about to go right on off. There you go. It's about to come back to being an orange-yellow color again. It's about to come back to an orange-yellow color. Here it goes. And come on. Oh, and there it is. Did you guys catch that? Look at that. It went back to being orange yellow. It went back to orange yellow. Like, for example, when I turn that off, by the way, it actually shows the same color right here. Like, it shows like a very same particular color as orange yellow. So that's probably why it was an orange yellow color. So that is pretty cool. So anyways, let me go ahead and stand up for a second. So give me a second when I stand up for a sec. All right, so that, by the way, folks, is definitely my PS4. So if you guys, in fact, definitely enjoy my PS4, then I hope that you guys actually liked my test, by the way, of showing you guys what it sounds like, by the way, when it doesn't have a game disc in there. So if you guys like the game disc, by the way, when it actually does make an interesting noise that doesn't go in there exactly, then let me know in the chats, by the way, of telling me what the sounds looked like, by the way. Because, I mean, for me, the sounds actually looked pretty good. It actually looked a very interesting sound that I'd never even heard of, for almost likely. It is pretty similar to the Wii or the Wii U, for an example, but it's actually a different basic sound that was actually hooked into the system anyway, that how it makes sense. So that's why it makes sense. And oh yeah, let me go ahead and read the next part of the chat here. So Little Nugget GD Roblox said another long word right here, which was just very long here. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably read it anyway. So man, many long words, huh? I never seen any long words than this, but I'll go ahead and read it anyway. So it says hyper PSEUDOPISTRQSMISTRACDQUIDI or pretty much L exactly, I don't know, but I guess it said L. I mean ASTRACIONIPIOPHOPIA. Wow. That is like a long word again. That is like so long words that I never seen. Jesus, that's just wow. That is pretty long. And I'll be honest with you guys, that actually is a very long word I never seen before. Like Good damn, I just didn't see that before. Like, wow. Very long words, as I ever seen. Very long, which I have no idea why, but I guess unfortunately it does make sense anyway, since well, normally as I said before, I will look those up by the way on Google anyway, since I'll definitely consider looking at those long words anyway, which yeah, at least I'll try to at least try to capture most of them exactly and get some of them anyway, but I'll go ahead and kind of look those up exactly on Google, which by the time as I say anyway at the end of this live stream, which is not actually not the end of this live stream now, I'm only gonna say if it actually is finished, it means that I might be done doing the live stream. But for me, I guess we're going to continue with the live stream for a little bit until I say that we're going to probably end the live stream. So as of now, we're going to go ahead and continue on talking for a little while and say that we're going to continue having a little bit of fun and continue with all the questions that we have today. So if you guys have any questions, let me know, guys. Let me know again, by the way, in the chat, by the way, so that way I'll be able to read most of them and might be able to go ahead and kind of consider reading you guys' interesting thoughts or questions. By the way, as long as they're positive, by the way, not negative, then that's good. So if you guys have something positive in the chat, by the way, let me know again. So that way I'll be able to read them. So that way I'll be able to go ahead and read it. And also, the very interesting question I did ever heard, by the way, was that, yeah, I actually did heard about some interesting rumors that were going on anyways. What I'm about saying is like, oh, there was like something going on between with U.S. versus Iran nonsense, which, yeah, that is pretty insane, and I'd say that actually is pretty crazy. Which, that is very something. I just have to say that I did pay attention watching Fox lately. For those who again actually say that, oh, why do you watch that? Why do you watch that network? Well, first on, by the way, why do I watch it? I just think I'd say again they have covered a bit of truth a little bit sometimes, which I did pay attention a little bit just to kind of pay attention what they're talking about most of the time, which I'd say that I think Fox is just entertaining to watch a little bit because I mean, I've always liked Fox. I've always liked it because at least hey, at least truth's better than lies anyway. Because I'd say yeah, truths are better than lies. So that's all I can talk about. And yeah, I do love America. That's all I liked about because I'd say that hell yeah, brother, America, America. Like, yeah, I can do a good eagle impression for those who didn't notice, by the way. I can do an eagle impression. So let me go ahead and do that eagle impression anyway. So as of now, let me go ahead and do the eagle impression. I'm going to go ahead and say is this. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do this in 3, 2, 1, 0. Yeah, that is an eagle impression. Just for letting you guys know, that was definitely one good eagle impression I did. So yeah, I actually did a very good eagle impression by saying it's like, damn, let's freaking go USA. Good damn, like good freaking damn. Which, I did a very good eagle impression anyway because I'm very good at them anyways. Which, trust me, I really am good. I really am that good. So for those who actually do want me to do another good impression, by the way, let me know in the chat so that way I'll actually do another one anyways. Because I mean, for me, I did super well, good impressions, by the way. Perfect impressions I do. So, yeah, that's all I can say right already. But yeah, I think that eagle one I did was well performanced. That I ever kind of did, by the way, when I was going like, caw. That caw, by the way, I was doing, by the way. Man, that one I did was just nailed. It was just nailed it. It was actually pretty well done. It was very well done. I did just my own version of I did an eagle, by the way, for once. That was kind of like basically amazing. So yeah, I did one hell of a good eagle impression. So that was pretty cool. That was like very cool. I liked it, and I definitely enjoyed doing that eagle impression. But there could be a lot more impressions I could do for a lot to entertain you guys. Exactly, for a lot of good impressions I do. So there you guys' questions. And speaking of that anyway, well, I was going to naturally kind of think about another interesting character I could probably do. Like, for instance, I could probably do, like, a very interesting, good reptile voice I can do, or whatever basically I was going to do anyway. Well, yes, it does refer to Mortal Kombat anyway, but I can do, like, a good reptile impression by any chance by anyway. So, let me go ahead and do an interesting reptile voice. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and do this one. I am a reptile. I am reptilian for the reptilian race. I am a reptile. Ah! Man, yeah, that's exactly how I do a good reptile impression. Yeah, I do one good impression of a reptile impression, so there you go. Like, yeah, for some reason, why I actually do a good reptile voice, since he's definitely part of the reptilian race, by the reason that exactly that, yes, reptile is definitely from the reptilian race because it's full of a bunch of other reptiles exactly that may look like him, so that's probably why. So, anyways, let me see if I could do like a good reptile impression by saying is like, oh, something very unique a little bit and very impression like. So let me go ahead and say if I could do an interesting good burns a little bit as reptile. But anyway, let me go ahead and do them. This is a reptile. You just got dominated. Ah! How you doing there, Luke Kane? I'm about to spit acid in your face. Okay, that one, by the way, was sick. Yeah, Reptile was not playing around for that time, but I'd say I do a very good one. So, yeah, let me see if I can do another good one if I say this one right here. So, all right, this is Reptile speaking, and you're gonna lose, Kung Lao. I'm gonna be spitting acid in that hat and spit acid completely on your hat. And it's going to be called an acid disgusting hat. And I mean, who wants to go out with that hat? Yeah, that one I'd say ironic. That one is totally ironic. Once again, it's just ironic once again, though. Yeah, I do a very good impression of Reptile though, but yeah, as I could say anyways, that for those who want me to do a good impression of Reptile, then yes, I do pretty well good of Reptile because I mean, he's supposed to kind of sound like a reptilian anyway because he's supposed to kind of sound like one, so that is exactly my question. Like that exactly is definitely my question that I do a pretty good reptile impression and pretty much. So other impressions I could do are very amazing. But like I said, I don't want to kind of like waste my impressions a little bit down the drain since I actually am maintaining to keep doing good impressions a little bit to save my voice a little bit just to kind of like save my items app a little bit so that way that that I just wouldn't have a hard time struggling with the impression a little bit for some time. But I do a very good impression all the time anyway, by any good reason. Like, for example, I could do a pirate, but yeah, that impression, by the way, I can definitely do for a pirate impression. But anyway, let me go ahead and say this as a captain. If I was doing this, by the way, I was going to say is like, Yar, I'm a captain. Yar. How you be doing, my scurry dogs and my scurry lads? We're gonna go for the pirate seas, and we're gonna get some treasure and get some precious booty. Yeah, come and get some booty from the island. And for those who want to get the booty, go ahead and get to that booty of that treasure. Yeah, ha, ha. Yeah, and also, what do you say, my lucky parrot? Is it gonna be lucky besides going through the traps? Ah, yeah, it's lucky to go for the traps, sire. Ah, I'm just hoping the traps don't be going off right in a minute. Ah. You see what I mean? It's comedily hilarious. Because I do videos for fun. Always, regardlessly for fun. Always for fun. Like, man, that pirate impression I just pulled off right there. Oh my god, that one was a comedian good joke. Like, man, that should be the medal of the honor of the Oscar right there. That should be like totally the Oscar right there. Man, one hell of a pirate voice and a parrot. Man, how awesome could that sound right there? How awesome would that sound? But anyway, let me go ahead and try to do another good one for you guys right here, since I'll probably do another good one here. Now I'm gonna do a very interesting cowboy impression. I'm gonna say is like, Yeehaw! How are you doing there, partner? I be a cowboy, and where are the ladies at, partner? I mean, I don't see any dang ladies in that bar, partner. Where are those ladies? And how are you doing there, sir? And also, can I speak to your manager? And can I speak to one of the ladies in the front of the desk, partner? Yeah, I be saying is like, goddamn, partner, I'm gonna be drinking some good beans tonight and get some good beans for dinner. Yeah, that impression though. Like, yeah, that impression though. Yeah, very good ones though. Very good ones. And as if you guys definitely enjoyed a bit of this live stream, then yeah, the live stream, like I said, is kind of okay so far, which I'd say that, well, I think this live stream, by the way, is doing pretty all right in the middle since I actually am kind of definitely feeling a little bit better now since I'm actually now having less anxiety now, which of course I had to use a bathrobe anyway because in the beginning part for that reason is that, well, in that beginning, I actually didn't have a bathrobe to kind of get that stream started, so that's probably why I was having a bit of a shiver, a little bit of cold in here, so that's probably why I had to use it. So that's all I had to use was just a bathrobe. So anyway, as I can say otherwise, that if you guys, well, are enjoying your guys' day so far, like considering the pretty much the morning or afternoon, then let me know again in the chat so that way I'll be able to go ahead and read it. So, as I said anyway, for me, I've been doing pretty fine so far, just chilling and just relaxing. Well, for what I'm about to kind of do in the evening a little bit was that, well, for what I actually was going to do in the evening, let's just say that I was going to, in fact, by the way, definitely kind of do more live streams on my other separate channels, by the way, which I actually am going to kind of figure out a little bit, by the way, and might actually find some thumbnails if I could find any. So that's all I can say. But if there's not, by the way, then I'm going to say is like, well, it is what it is, by the way. And I'd say is that, well, it is what it is. And I'd say that's totally natural and that's totally fine, which even though I probably would say it only depends if I find screenshots, by the way, of what I might want to find a little bit and see what I can do from here and there. So there's you guys' questions. And oh yes, before we do continue on talking a little bit, is that if you guys, and I mean, I do consider saying this, if you guys definitely go ahead and subscribe to my separate channels, by the way, my separate channels would probably have to be my second channel, my fourth channel, my fifth, sixth, seventh channel, and eighth, ninth, 10th, and whatever exactly. So if you guys can go ahead and subscribe to my separate channels, by the way, and support them, by the way, that, by the way, would be amazing, and that would be very awesome, and that would be appreciated for those who want to see more good impressions I do. Then yes, those I said it before, I do good impressions of Sonic, Five Nights at Freddy's, Mario, Plants vs. Zombies, horror, gaming, and of course, whatever exactly, or Team Fortress, or Total Drama, or whatever impressions I do, by the way, those, like I said, could definitely entertain you guys. If you guys go ahead and subscribe to those channels, by the way, consider subscribing to them, by the way, and yeah, definitely go ahead and subscribe. That, by the way, would definitely help, and that would definitely appreciate it. Just to continue to get more subscribers, by the way, on the subscriber goal that we probably might be able to be reaching, by the way. So if you guys want to continuously support the channels, by the way, separate channels, then there's you guys' questions that I'll say that, yeah, feel free again to definitely subscribe. So that way you won't miss a single videos that comes straight onto those channels. Or even better yet, by the way, go ahead and absolutely subscribe to them so that way you won't miss a single video that definitely comes right onto these channels. So thank you. And yeah, so far I'm going to go ahead and check on the subscriber goal anyway, just to see where kind of we're left off, by the way. And oh yes, before anybody does ask, by the way, of what the subscriber goals are about, well, about subscriber goals, by the way, what subscriber goals actually are, by the way, is that it means that the subscriber goals are actually about like something very interesting, like an installment, by the way, or something like entertaining, by the way. Well, I actually do a voice for a character that actually would celebrate a subscriber goal. That is actually recently on my separate channels, by the way, for those, again, who would definitely consider as always to subscribe. Then there's you guys' questions. Like, for example, my Sonic channel, by the way, well, typically known as my Devin-Foxy's Sonic channel, well, I actually do good Sonic impressions. So, for those who definitely want to go ahead and subscribe to my second channel, by the way, I do very good Sonic impressions and very amazing impressions over there. So, yeah, that's how many impressions I could do, by the way. And in fact, by the way, I actually was going to plan make another video today that I actually was going to do. But yes, I actually am available to kind of make the videos. I will definitely do that, by the way. So, there you go. Hold on a minute. I'm going to have to drink something for a minute. There we go. Definitely was drinking some orange juice, by the way, so that way I'll continue talking. So, anyway. So, for my second channel, by the way, Devin-Foxy's Sonic channel, well, I'll tell you guys this, by the way. is that I want to let you guys know, by the way. So, the fact is, I want to let you guys know, by the way, is that for right now, exactly on the subscriber goal we actually have, by the way, for the subscribers, by the way, on the subscriber goal, is I want to say is that for my second channel, by the way, we're currently on like is 754 subscribers, by the way. And also, if we actually do reach 800 subscribers, by the way, on my second channel, by the way, that actually would be amazing, by the way. That would actually consider being super amazing for those who have not subscribed to my second channel, by the way. I do very good Sonic impressions. Like, I do very good voice impressions. Like the characters I'm about to kind of do, by the way, and show you guys anyway. But the impressions I do, by the way, is hold on for a second. So let me go ahead and find the playlist that I might be able to find anyway. So give me a second while I might find it. So the only impressions I do, by the way, is Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Dr. Robotnik, Kirby, Hammer Kirby, Meta Knight, Big Knuckles, Orbot, Deadpool, Metal Sonic, Uganda Knuckles, and Silver, Dr. Eggman, Thanos, King DDD, Dark Chow, Classic Sonic, and Classic Metal Sonic, and Iron Man, and Omega, and Nicholas the Dark, Classic Tails, and finally Classic Knuckles. So anyway, those are the only impressions I do, by the way. So I do tend, by the way, to actually continue to get more characters, by the way, in the channel, by the way. For those who do or don't know, by the way, that I will continue to get more characters on the second channel, by the way. I might consider getting some female characters in the channel, by the way, which even though it is going to probably be, considering not to be like a considered not Sonic character, by the way, that is actually going to be a non-Sonic character. But the only thing I can tell you guys about whenever that next MET video is going to be about, well, as I can say and I can tell you guys already, is what's the next thing going to happen, by the way, is that in the next MET video, I actually will be revealing another character that actually would be another interesting name. That is actually going to be a good guy, by the way. That is going to be one of the heroes that's going to part likely to be with Sonic and his friends, along with Kirby and Hammer Kirby and Deadpool. Well, the only character that is actually going to be a shadowy character that has a question mark and also might appear on my second channel, by the way, that the only character that is going to be a hero from a different universe, from a different world, that is going to be referring to a non-Sonic character is going to be no than any other. That the name is, drumroll please, is known likely to be is Wonder Woman. Yep, I said it. The character who is going to be on the second channel, by the way, is going to definitely be, in fact, is Wonder Woman. Now, in this reason why do I say that? The reason why I actually do say that, by the way, that the only typical reason why I say it is because, well, Sonic and his friends don't basically have female characters on the channel, which actually does kind of ironically suck, but all I can say again is at least I'm going to kind of get a character who might actually insist being on that universe, by the way, that actually is going to be definitely considered to be Wonder Woman. So that is probably why I'd say I choose my answer would probably be Wonder Woman, that she would probably be joining with the characters, by the way, with the Sonic characters I definitely explained on the playlist, by the way, on the on the playlist that I actually explained on the characters, by the way. And the only characters who are definitely there, by the way, are 25 characters. 25. Like, literally 25. Like, for an example, there might be 26. Like, in fact, there might even be 26 characters, by the way, which I find it so interesting a little bit that every Sonic character or non-Sonic character might definitely consider being showing up a little bit on some point of time a little bit by knowing. However, with the only time I'd say is like, that is pretty interesting, bruh. That is like the most interesting nostalgia idea I've ever kind of did, by the way, was have 25 characters on my second channel, man. Like, on my second channel. Like, it is interesting as heck. Like, it's very interesting. Like, totally up notch interesting. So, that's all I can give you guys that news right there. So, Anywho, that yes, the answer I'd say that yes, Wonder Woman, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is definitely going to be, in fact, going to definitely be revealed in my second channel. That it will definitely be on Devin-Foxy's Sonic channel. That Wonder Woman will definitely be revealed on that channel and will definitely be revealed in an MET video, which is also going to be the MEET video. That, it will definitely be revealed in that video in pretty much my second channel, by the way. However, that there is going to be a time whenever I try to do a very interesting Wonder Woman impression, by the way, which even though I never do a very good Wonder Woman impression, so for those who don't do or don't know, that I might try my best to do a Wonder Woman impression, just only my kind of voice if I do that, but it's going to be a little intimidating, a little hard to kind of do that voice, but I'll try my best a little bit and give my doubts a little bit and see how good I do that Wonder Woman impression and see how further I could do the impression. But at the end of the day, I guess we're going to have to find out and see how good I can do it and how interesting I would do it. So there you go. So as of now, folks, that Wonder Woman will definitely be, in fact, on my second channel, by the way. Just want to let you guys know that there will definitely be a thumbnail that I'll try at least to find something that actually would fit, by the way, of the character, by the way, that would fit, by the way, of Wonder Woman's actually good looks, by the way, of Wonder Woman's good looks a little bit, and actually see that for myself, which, for those, again, who do or don't notice that, yes, Wonder Woman will technically be on my second channel, along with the Sonic characters. Even in fact, by the way, I might actually give you guys a little bit of an interesting question, by the way. Imagine this. Like, hold on. Let me tell you guys this. Imagine if Deadpool meets Wonder Woman for the first time. Imagine that. Like, imagine that question being very interesting. Like, imagine a character like Deadpool would meet a Wonder Woman character. Like, a Wonder Woman. Like, he would actually meet Wonder Woman. Like, even though that Deadpool might actually meet an Amazon, like a character named Wonder Woman, but good damn, that would be insane. That would be crazy. Like, that would be like the most craziest interaction I ever would come up with that idea. If it were to be a parody or something, then yes, it would be that interesting to see. And that would be so interesting to so likely definitely watch. Like, that would be nuts. Like, for real, man. I'm actually being that honest. I'm like actually being honest with you guys. That Deadpool would actually meet Wonder Woman for the first time. If it were to be a parody video, that, by the way, would be gold. That would be like the gold of the gold of the gold mine. That would be so like with the gold mine, man. That would be like gold. So, yeah. That is how that would probably be full likely explained, by the way, of how and why, in that question of why I actually would consider to pick Wonder Woman exactly, which it is pretty crazy. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty crazy, but I'd say that is actually very interesting to say the least. Like, that is actually very interesting and very well thought out, and it's just very interesting of that idea. And also, the fact I want to let you guys know that, yes, technically speaking, that I'm about to let you guys know is this message, by the way, is that Wonder Woman will consider to be in season 4 on my second channel, which, yes, Wonder Woman, by the way, will definitely be on the second channel and will actually be considered to be in season 4 along with Sonic and the others, which I think Wonder Woman, by the way, will consider actually meeting with the characters that Wonder Woman might actually get to meet the Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, Sonic will get to meet a DC character named Wonder Woman. Which, by the way, guys, what is your guys' favorite interactions about that question by saying is this? Imagine this. Imagine if Sonic gets to meet Wonder Woman for the only time forever. Like, that would be insane. Which, even though that I know, again, that I do wish that there would be more female characters to be actually on the second channel, but at least I'm actually getting like one female character that actually would fit. It would actually fit to be in the idea of why it would work. So for those who might actually don't know that, yes, it might work for a good, legit reason. That, yeah, it might actually be good for a big reason that everything might change. As I did say anyways, that yes, it might definitely change for however, that there might be the first time character, like a female character, that would consider to be in season 4 in my second channel. Which, I mean, think about that. That would be like next level change up. Like, it would change
everything else. Like it would change like a different perspective from like Sonic and his friends to actually gaining loyalty to Wonder Woman and actually might gave good respect and might actually know for a fact to know how she would actually would fight Eggman or Thanos for a reason, which of course that she's never even fought those characters, which yeah, to be honest with you guys already, that's gonna probably be like an interesting dilemma a little bit, just to kind of actually have a bit of good juice a little bit and have some good entertainment a little bit to kind of figure out why that would be interesting. So there's the guys the questions. And oh yeah, speaking by the way, is that yeah, that would be interesting to see. And oh, yes, as I was going to let you guys know, by the way, here, by the way, I was going to mention on my fourth channel that, well, my fourth channel needs to get some support, by the way, as I want to let you guys know, by the way, is I do want you guys' help, by the way, to support my fourth channel, by the way. And yes, this is only about Finds at Freddy's. That's only referring to FNAF Plush. That is only referring to the FNAF channel, which is also called is Devin-Foxy's FNAF channel. Now, here basically I can tell you guys this, by the way, this is only about Finds of Freddy's. It'll definitely be considered always about Finds of Freddy's. And oh yes, as I will tell you guys about an interesting news that I can tell you guys about this, by the way, is guess what? That I definitely did mention about something, by the way, about me mentioning about the ideas about like, oh, season two, and of course like the second movie I'm about to kind of like reveal on my fourth channel, by the way, which is also different, by the way. And no, it's not going to be about Blumhouse. No, 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 no. It's not going to be all about that. It's going to be about a different version of mine, which also it is going to only be about toys, unwithereds, and withered animatronics only. It is not going to be about like other characters that have not been briefly mentioned on different universes. That no, it is not going to be like that. It's only going to be like from the game's nostalgia that yes, it is going to definitely be and technically be the same thing as the game, but it's so likely to be as plush versions of the movie and of course season 2, which also by the way, I've actually been thinking about pretty carefully and I've actually been crafting a little bit pretty well on basic of those ideas and actually may work on those ideas for how regardless of the ideas are going to probably be. So I definitely did say this, by the way, that yes, the movie, by the way, is going to be pretty interesting. Like the movie itself, by the way, I'm going to talk to you guys about the movie, by the way, of my own version is this. That the movie, by the way, is definitely going to be called is Finds a Phrase 2 movie, the New Start of Friends movie. So if you guys like the idea called like the New Start of Friends movie, that's pretty much why it's actually going to be called, by the way. And also, don't ask, by the way, for those who might ask me that question by saying, is like, oh, why is that going to be considered being called that in the second movie of FNAF 2 movie in my fourth channel? Well, I'll tell you guys why. Because the reason I say this is why is because I actually definitely actually added a community post earlier, which I think it was way back. Because I mean, it was way back. It was like way back before the poll actually ended, by the way. So that's probably why I considered choosing the second idea, which was called the New Start of Friends movie, which also it is going to be the same formula as the first one, by the way, but technically the second one is even scarier. Like the second one is going to be completely scary, which for those who don't do or don't get it, by the way, that yes, it's going to probably be the same formula, but it's going to have Jeremy Fitzgerald considered being the main character in the movie and actually will consider surviving as a security guard. Well, technically the role is going to be switched anyway, that the role is going to kind of be changed to is either Mike or Jeremy again, by the way. If Jeremy Fitzgerald does die by one of the animatronics, by the way, then yes, the role is going to be actually be switched to Mike again, by the way. Just because that Mike actually might return again for like, I don't know, a little bit of something like a cameo or something. I think he might appear to be as a cameo for something like that. And I think that Mike Schmidt actually might work in a different job, by the way. That yes, he actually would consider working in a different job that I think, a little bit recently that I've actually been kind of rewatching a little bit. for what he was going to actually do, by the way. I think he said something about Burger King or McDonald's or something. I really don't know, but I think he kind of said something like that for whenever that Mike Schmidt's secondary job that he would probably go to is either McDonald's or Burger King, which, I wasn't completely surprised in that question when he actually did said that, by the way. Like, the only thing I remember that he escaped out, by the way, he definitely escaped that the fake purple guy was the one involved that actually was going after the animatronics that wasn't the real purple guy. So that is probably why, in my considering question, is that I think I would say it is pretty interesting, in fact, to kind of witness a little bit of something before Puppet and the others were actually going to go after him anyways again and kind of got killed in the Springlock suit, which was definitely Springtrap. So that is probably why. And that is probably much why a very good, interesting, intense of the fact about how interesting that sounds. So that is probably why. For many reasons. That I don't know why, but it is a very interesting fact to see how the fake purple guy actually did suffer in that Springlock suit, which, oh, believe me, by the way, guys, believe me, he actually died in that suit. He definitely died in that end of the movie, which that was insane. Like, that was like literally pretty insane. That I never expected. Like, I don't know, the six of the characters actually did trap him, by the way, before he actually did technically wear the suit, before he did got snapped in the Springlock suit anyway, which was just like, ouch. I was like, damn. That was pretty unexpected for the guy to do that, which, yeah, the real purple guy, William Afton, was not too pleased on the idea before the news even happened, before I did the interesting, iconic voice of Mr. Goodman by saying, he's like, I am Mr. Goodman, okay? And also, ladies and gentlemen, the news I want to say, by the way, okay, is that the fake purple guy had died in the pizzeria and the pizzeria was closed. Like, I know my impression of Mr. Goodman is kind of like a bit rusty. I know that my voice of Mr. Goodman is kind of a little rusty for that reason, which is definitely kind of rusty to kind of do that voice because it's been a while. Because, I mean, trust me, it's been a while to do that voice, and don't judge me if that voice a little bit is kind of a little rusty, because I think that voice for me is kind of a little rusty, which I'll try to bring back the voice again anyway. But yeah, that voice I did was very iconic and was very good of that voice anyway. Like, even though I would still bring him back or not, but I'd still say anyways again that, yeah, that Mr. Goodman impression I did, it actually was a little rusty for my throat to kind of do. But as I say anyway, it takes time to do that voice, by the way. It actually does take actually some time to actually do the voice to do Mr. Goodman. So that's probably why my throat is a little rusty to kind of do that voice anyway, because it actually might give me a little hard time to do the voice anyway. But, I'm just going to go slow, by the way, just to do the voices a little slow, by the way, so that way I just don't, like, I don't know, not try to kill my throat as much, but as I can say anyways and otherwise, that, yeah, the movie itself was pretty good. The Chapters of Doom movie I made was pretty sick. It was actually pretty good. It was, for once, by the way, the best one I ever did. Exactly. And all of that, by the way, was likely very well deserved. And it was like very well deserved. Exactly. It was like very well done. So that's probably much why I made that movie. Anyway, the next person said on the chat was named Lucas, Lucas Padro. Sorry if I can't get the other name right, but I'm going to go ahead and read the chat. So Lucas said, hi. What's up, Lucas? Yo, what's up, Lucas? How's it going, bro? How's it going? What's up, Lucas? R1N. What's up, Lucas? What's up, dude? And thanks for coming into the live stream, by the way. Thank you for considering being in the live stream. Appreciate it. So, yeah, definitely appreciate it, Lucas. I definitely appreciate it. And anyway, that's all I had to kind of talk about was the whole thing I was talking about, how everything was like being core to the plan, how my other separate channels are gonna like continue making content and stuff. But as I can tell you guys anyway, is if you guys like my idea of whenever the second movie is gonna come out, well, for me, by the way, I really am not too sure or too picky on the idea of when that will be considered being on the go. So for those again who might want to subscribe to Devin-Foxy's FNAF channel, please go ahead again and subscribe to my fourth channel, so that way you won't miss any single FNAF content that actually continues to be amazing. So for those who want to see it, then yeah, go ahead and definitely see some interesting, scary Five Nights at Freddy's. So go ahead and subscribe. Anyway, the next thing I want to go ahead and take a look on here is that for those who definitely want to go ahead and subscribe to my fifth channel, by the way, is definitely Devin-Foxy's Mario channel. That I do a very good Mario impression. I'm going to say is like, woohoo! It's a me, Mario. Let's go. Yeah, as I said again, definitely go ahead and subscribe to my fifth channel. By the way, that is named to be is Devin-Foxy's Mario channel. Yep. And also, by the way, I actually want to give you guys some interesting info, by the way, that my fifth channel, by the way, my fifth channel is actually getting close to 400 subscribers. 400! Like a big 400. Like, if you guys can go out and help out my fifth channel, by the way, and subscribe over there, then yes. My fifth channel, by the way, is going to definitely, in fact, get 400 subscribers, by the way, to actually get massive good subscribers for 400 subscribers. So for those, again, who may actually do or don't know about my fifth channel, by the way, it is actually about Mario stuff. It is actually about, like, oh, I don't know. It's about, like, Mario plush content I do. Just, like, consider Mario content. That's all. Like, that's what it does exactly. Is just do, like, amazing Mario content I make and a lot of good stuff I make over there. Is just, like, I do very good impressions of Mario a lot. Like, very good impression of Mario characters. Even though, as I'd say anyway, it's going to be the same dilemma as the second channel is, by the way. Yes, I do very interesting, good non-Mario plush characters, or in fact, non-Mario characters that I would still consider be doing, by the way. And also, by any chance, I do want to let you guys know, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys something I'll actually say right now, which I'll go ahead and say it. So let me go ahead and find the characters of the MET videos. There it is. So, by the way, the characters I do, by the way, is right here that explains. I'll say this, by the way, when I will say this out loud to everybody. So, the characters of the impressions I do, by the way, is Mario, Luigi, Cousin Mario, Cousin Luigi, Peach, Genie Kong, and my boy Toad, Yellow Toad, Blue Toad, and Light Blue Yoshi, and Toadette, Wario, Waluigi, Shy Guy, Joseph, known as Koopa Troopa, Cody, known as the Koopa Wizard, and Hammer Bro, and Boomerang Bro, and Mr. Bullocks, and Bullet Bill, Boo, Dry Bones, and Piranha Plant, Pipe, and Paratroopa, or should I say Koopa Paratroopa, that is actually the red, by the way, that actually has wings, and Babam, and Morton, Widwick, Bowser Jr., Cousin Bowser, that actually just the word saying the word broski, but let me go ahead and do another interesting voice of like Cousin Bowser's impression. So let me go ahead and say this. What's up, broski? I am Cousin Bowser, broski. How's it going on there, broski? Yeah, I mean, for me, by the way, I know Cousin Bowser actually is the same thing like Bowser, but he actually has like a cool vibe, chilling voice a little bit. Because I mean, more likely, here's this explanation, by the way, is that this explanation means, by the way, that for those who do or don't get it, by the way, how Cousin Bowser actually sounds like, by the way, that Cousin Bowser is supposed to kind of sound like a broski. He's supposed to kind of sound like a chilling guy. He's supposed to kind of sound like a chilling, naturally a chilling guy, positivity guy, or whatever exactly. He's supposed to kind of sound like a chilling broski. I mean, he's a villain, though. I know he's a bad guy and stuff, but, he's more likely a double gainer, by the way. That's actually like a version of Bowser, but more likely he's a cousin version of Bowser, which, he does say the word broski almost half the time, but he doesn't say it half the time as anyways, but he'll say it mostly sometimes by saying the word broski, which it is a thing that Cousin Bowser says, by the way, that however he says it in a cool vibing way, that he says, what's up, how's it going, how's it you doing, or something like that. He basically says it anyway. Like Cousin Bowser, for me, I just do that impression of him by saying the word, what's up there, broski? How you doing, broski? I see that surfboard, what you doing there, broski? How's it going, man? Yeah, that's how I do very well an impression I do of Cousin Bowser, by the way. That's how good I do it. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It actually is pretty good that I do a very good voice of Cousin Bowser. I really consider, again, doing a very good voice of Cousin Bowser, but I'm like, damn, I do one hell of a good voice of Cousin Bowser, man. I do one hell of a good voice out of it, and it actually is pretty good. So, the next one, by the way, that I actually do is Bowser and Donkey Kong, Daisy, Metal Mario, King Koopa, Yoshi, Mini Babam, Big Mr. Bullocks, and Chain Chomp. And of course, I have Cyborg and Lemmy, Dry Bowser Jr., Paragoomba, and of course, Cuphead and Mugman, and the Cheap Cheap Fish, and finally, Red Yoshi. Like, those are the characters I do, by the way, and those are the only characters I actually do the impressions of, by the way. Like, let's just say how many characters I did, by the way, were 45. 45 characters, by the way. Like, recently, 45 characters, by the way, were definitely in the MET video, by the way. And yes, it does count, by the way. The Cousin Brothers were actually included, by the way. So, yes, it does include 46 or just 45 characters, by the way, that were on my fifth channel. So, that's probably why. And oh, for those who want to explain to me who those characters are, by the way, that is Cousin Mario and Cousin Luigi. Well, let's just say that Cousin Mario technically is Mario's cousin. Just on my fifth channel's logic. Just want to give you guys a little bit of a fun fact logic that it's only about my fifth channel. It has nothing to do about the actual lore of Nintendo. It actually is the lore of my fifth channel, by the way. It's just only about the lore on my fifth channel, by the way. That's only what I'm just trying to say to you guys. Just my fifth channel, not Nintendo. That's it. And yeah, so as I could say that, yes, Cousin Mario is also a double gainer. Likely like Mario, but more likely his voice sounds like normal, but not with the Italian voice. He just sounds like a normal voice of me that I do of Cousin Mario. And of course, Cousin Luigi, because I mean, I definitely want to try something very interesting. I want to try something very different that actually would sound like my voice. If I did a normal voice of Cousin Mario or Cousin Luigi, it would make sense. Now, for Cousin Luigi's sake, by the way, let's just say Cousin Luigi is the same double gainer as Luigi, but it is included to be my voice again, so that's probably why. And definitely giving you guys a full context a little bit of just saying the facts a little bit about how good I do the impressions pretty well. All my main separate channels, by the way, I actually do for plush content stuff that I always do, which, they're very entertaining to do because I just like the vibe, the entertainment I do, exactly the voices I do are very well thought out. I do, just very well thought out. So, the next one I'm going to show you guys right now is my sixth channel. So, my sixth channel, by the way, is the P vs. Z channel. That is Devin-Foxy's P vs. Z channel. Now, in this typical question is that, however, and I'd say, however, of that right now, is that, however, with that right now, so let me go ahead and say this question out loud. So, the characters I do is, for existence, and for example, is let's just say on the Plants' channel, let's just say Meet the Plants. So, about the plants, by the way, I do a pretty good impression of Dr. Sunrowstein and Pea Shooter. So, here's this question, is why do I do a very good impression of Dr. Sunrowstein? Well, normally I'd say that yes, it's supposed to be kind of like a related voice to the Luigi fan, by the way. It's supposed to be kind of like a related thing a little bit. Just my only voice I do, just my voice, if it sounds a little similar, by the way, which actually does, quietly, frankly, actually makes a lot of sense. That it actually does, actually kind of sounds similar in between my sixth channel and the Luigi fan. Yes, it does sound the same thing, but it sounds a little bit more realistic. So that's all. And yeah, I do the voice of like the characters, by the way. That is Dr. Sunrowstein, Pea Shooter, Chomper, Cornapult, Wintermelon Pult, and the Split Peas, Snapdragon, Buck Troy, and Snow Pea, and Cherry Bomb, and the Jalapeno, the Chomper 2, by the way. For those who don't know who Chomper 2 is, by the way, that Chomper 2, by the way, is supposed to be like the Chomper's brother. Like, the Chomper's brother, by the way, is actually the Chomper 2, by the way, because, Chomper 2 actually eats two zombies, not one. Because, I mean, the regular Chomper eats one, right? Yes, he eats one zombie, but, the Chomper 2, by the way, actually eats two zombies at the same time, which, by the way, I know it's a pretty interesting logic. I know it's a very interesting logic that I actually wanted to come up with that just myself a little bit just to kind of make the absolute interesting idea is that Chomper 2 eats two zombies at the same time, which it is insane. And I'd say that is a pretty crazy idea. And it's a pretty interesting idea that for some reason, though, it actually is a very interesting idea that I just don't kind of blame, by the way. But hey, I guess that idea is wanting to kind of make more sense. Now, the voices I do next, by the way, is the twin sunflowers and the sun shroom. And yep, I do the voice of Sans, by the way, and Papyrus. So yeah, I do a bit of a good, interesting impression of Sans, by the way. That yes, it is definitely Undertale for those who actually like Undertale. That yes, I do a very good impression of Sans, by the way. I'm going to say is this, by the way, is I actually have to say that my voice is a little rusty from Sans a little bit, but I can try at least a good voice of Sans. So let me go ahead and get a good impression of Sans, by the way, and say is this. So let me go ahead and try it. So time to go ahead and do the impression. So I'm going to go ahead and do is this. Hello, everybody. I'm Sans. I'm Sans, everybody. That's right. I have a good joke for everybody. All right. I'm going to make a good joke. Why did the tire fell on sidewards? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it was more likely a upside down sidewards. Yeah, that's how I do a good impression of Sans, by the way. But, he's a very good jokester, by the way, all the time. He actually is a good jokester, so I don't know why for that reason. But, yeah, he's a pretty good jokester. He is actually a pretty good jokester, by the way. Yeah, pretty good jokester, though. Very, 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 very good jokester, by the way. Very intimidating good jokester. All right, so the next impression I can do is Papyrus. I mean, Papyrus, by the way, he always loves his spaghetti. He just always loves that spaghetti time. Which, I mean, he loves spaghetti, and yeah, he loves all that stuff. But anyway, I do a pretty good Papyrus voice, so let me go ahead and try it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Hey, Sans, where's my spaghetti? Hey, Sans, where's my spaghetti? There's no time for jokes. Like, there's no time for jokes, Sans. Where is my spaghetti? And have you touched my spaghetti? I'm going to go ahead and give you a slap. Hey, sorry there, Papyrus. I don't know where your spaghetti is, but maybe your spaghetti's in the kitchen. Like it's always in the kitchen. Sans, that is not funny. I mean, where's that spaghetti? And I'm not playing around here, Sans. As I said before, it's in the kitchen. Go ahead and get it to the kitchen, bud. Go to the kitchen and find it. Trust me, I do a very good impression of Sans and Papyrus, and they're actually pretty good. Like, they're very constantly pretty good. Yeah, I love to do that voice again, and I still love to do that voice to this day. That yes, I love to do that voice again, most likely on my 6th channel again. So, yeah, very good memories. And I'd say that hell yeah, man. Just hell yeah. The next one I do, by the way, is the Blover, by the way. That is still a plant, by the way, that I do a very good impression at too. And oh yes, the next impression I do, by the way, is the Black Panther. Yeah, the Black Panther, by the way, folks. That for those who do not know about the Black Panther, that I actually do a very good impression of the Black Panther. I mean, his voice of Black Panther, by the way, well, his voice is supposed to kind of sound like a Wakanda voice. I mean, it's supposed to sound like Wakanda exactly. I mean, he does sound like that a little bit of Black Panther. So let me go ahead and try this one. So I'm going to go say it like this. I am the Black Panther. That's right. Fear of Wakanda. And also, I am the Black Panther. That, for those who join the Wakanda tribe, then feel free to join the Wakanda. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much as I said it again before, by the way, folks, that yes, my voice is a bit rusty, by the way. Just to kind of do the voices still again, but at least I'll try to get the voices a bit back a little bit. when I have enough time to kind of actually have the voices being returned. So that is probably why, folks. That is probably why. Now, the next segment I definitely want to go ahead about and say is this. So the next one I want to go ahead and briefly mention, by the way, that the next one I'd say is this. That the next one I'd say is that let's go ahead and go to the playlist, by the way, and just take a look, by the way. I actually do a pretty good zombies impression, by the way. That the only characters are right now that I'm going to tell you guys already who I voiced, by the way, exactly on my 6th channel is Head Zombie, Dr. Zomboss. Like, oh yeah, I do a very good impression of Zomboss. And also, fun fact, by the way. Here's a fun fact. That did you guys know that Dr. Zomboss sounds like Dr. Eggman? Just by the way, for this technical reason, by the way, is do you guys know that Dr. Zomboss actually sounds like Dr. Eggman? I mean, trust me, they both sound so similar, but with the same voice. Like, literally, the same voice of the same character, which, even though it does sound the same anyway, but let me go ahead and try to show you guys a demonstration what Dr. Eggman or Zomboss would actually sound like anyway. But here I go. Let me go ahead and say this for Eggman. So, here it is. I'm going to say it's like, I hate that hedgehog. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Well, 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 if it isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, pretty much Eggman sounds like that anyway, but let me go ahead and see if I can do Zomboss's impression by saying is this. Well, 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 if it isn't the Plats. Yeah, seriously, think about it. Like, they sound the same. They sound the same, man. Like, they totally sound like it. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's technically true, by the way, folks. They definitely sound completely 100% the same. That I mean, Dr. Eggman and Zomboss do sound likely the same character. But, they actually say that they hate Sonic and the plants, so that's probably why. Anyways, the next one is, by the way, I do the very interesting voice of my normal voice of the Lord of the Zombies, by the way, because technically I actually voice myself to be the Lord of the Zombies because, I do like the zombies over than plants because I have to say, why do I like the zombies more than plants? Because, I mean, think about it. Zombies, by the way, oh yeah, I actually like the zombies, by the way, because they always say brains the whole time. They say brains, and then of course they eat the plants, by the way, and they get in the house and try to like, oh, I don't know, try to go out to Crazy Dave and get his brain, by the way, and say, oh, the plants have lost a lot of times until they say is like the game over screen that says this. Until Crazy Dave says the word no! And then, yeah, that's when the game over actually happens, by the way, when that sound actually happens. So, that is probably why I actually like the zombies more than the plants exactly. So, yeah, I'd say technically zombies are pretty bit better. And I think I'd say I like zombies better than plants because I actually like zombies better than plants. So, the next one I voiced, by the way, is regular zombie, Conehead zombie, known as Coney, by the way. That's like Conehead zombie that I like to call him, by the way, is named Coney. Which, I mean, yes, I know, again, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I know it actually is the same name as the same thing is like Luigi fan, by the way. That's like a Luigi Super Luigi fan, by the way. That yes, it does supposed to kind of sound like the voice of named Coney, so that's probably why. And the next one I do is newspaper zombie, duck tube zombie, killer zombie, and oh yes, for those who do not know who Killer Zombie is supposed to be like the replacement of like the zombie that goes in the sky. It's supposed to be a reference. The main reason why I named the zombie called Killer Zombie is because the fact, by the way, is that I actually named the zombie named Killer Zombie because I mean it's supposed to kind of refer to a interesting dilemma that anybody's never actually named a zombie before. That's never actually named a technical zombie that's named Killer Zombie. Like, think about this for a minute. It's like a replacement, by the way, from the roof level when there's like a zombie that actually has like a banshee that goes right up in the sky and yanks the plant up from the sky. Yes, that actually is the replacement for Killer Zombie. When that Killer Zombie goes like, yee-haw! That Killer Zombie actually grabs one of the plants, or maybe uses a knife or something, and then just yanks the plant up, by the way, and eats it. So that is probably why I named the zombie named Killer Zombie. So that is probably why I say that yes, it's supposed to kind of look like a different zombie that has a bit of gray and white hair behind the back of the hair. Most likely a bit of Killer Zombie. That yes, Killer Zombie is bald, by the way. Just want to give you guys an FYI that Killer Zombie doesn't have hair. He more likely had a bit of like bald spots on his hair, so it's probably why he doesn't have any hair. So it's probably why. Anyways, the next one we have is Disco Zombie, and of course the Elimination Zombie, and oh yeah, Elimination Zombie. Yes. So for those who didn't know who Elimination Zombie actually is, Elimination Zombie is a zombie that uses hands like a boomerang. Like, for once, by the way, that yes, it is true that Elimination Zombie uses hands like a boomerang exactly, like uses his arms. Like his arms are like a punch, by the way. Like his arms like a throwing punch boomerang exactly, because a boomerang with hands or arms, that yes, Elimination Zombie is supposed to kind of like have boomerang for our hands exactly, and knock the plants and yank the plants down, by the way, and hit them for a reason of why it actually is interesting. Like, if one of the plants actually grabs his hand, by the way, it means that there might be another second chance that a plant might throw it back at him in his face, which is actually pretty ironic, so say myself, by the way. It is like a very unique idea that I named the other zombie named Elimination Zombie. Like, he likes to eliminate another plant. Like, it's an example, by the way. Like, think about this for a minute. Imagine if somebody was eliminated from a game, like if you get tagged or something, like tag or something, like yes, that is exactly what it looks like, by the way. But more good of a name that I liked coming up with is just Elimination Zombie. That a zombie that is named Elimination is a pretty funny name, and it's actually pretty cool. For honest sake, by the way, it is a very unique of a good name. It's very unique, and I liked it. So that is probably why I named Elimination Zombie for that reason. So there it is. The next one, by the way, is Doodle Bob. Now, for those who do not know who Doodle Bob is, by the way, it is actually Dr. Zombos's pet, by the way, to let you guys know that yes, that zombie, by the way, that goes like Yee! Or those other noises, by the way, yes. Elimination Zombie doesn't speak actual English or actual words, by the way. It just makes actual noises, by the way, by actually making a lot of different noises. That Doodle Bob, by the way, makes a lot of noises, because I mean he doesn't barely talk. He only just makes a lot of noises by going and saying like yeah, a lot of those noises, like I said, is true. That he makes a lot of those noises. So it's probably why Doodle Bob makes those noises. So that's why. Next one, by the way, we have right here is I voice Arnold and Little Baby Dude, known as Ganchuar, and that is known as Ganchuar and the Little Imp. That for some reason why I like the name called Arnold and Little Baby Dude is that yes, the same logic as I said before was definitely a Luigi fan. That I say this anyway before, that I actually do a very good impression of Arnold by saying it's like Arnold's ready to smash. Roar! Here comes Arnold. And yeah, that's how I do a very good impression of Ganchuar, by the way, of Arnold, by the way. Yes, it is pretty good. It is actually legit pretty good. And Little Baby Dude, by the way, yeah, Little Baby Dude, by the way, for some reason, he kind of somehow actually makes a few bit of noises, by the way, by saying, he's like, come on, Arnold, let's go. Yeah, I mean something like that though. But anyway, continue. What we have next is what we have is Guitar Guy. Yep, actually definitely a zombie. And of course, Mummy Zombie and Mummy Buckethead Zombie, Pirate Zombie, and of course Cowboy Zombie, that's known as Hambone. Exactly. For those who do not know who Hambone, by the way, is, that yes, Hambone is supposed to relate to the Cowboy Zombie, because I mean he always has that good line, by the way, whenever he does this. Hello, everybody. I'm Hambone. I'm gonna be whooping some cows. Brains. Like, I know, right? It's actually funny that I like the fact about Hambone is supposed to kind of be like a funny name relating to a cowboy zombie, because I mean, it's not actual food. It's supposed to be related to a food name that was given to be a cowboy zombie. For some reason, I don't know why I stick with it, but I'd say it was like you know what? I'm gonna stick with that name because I think that name actually was kind of like the best choice I kind of would have named Cowboy Zombie at this point. So that is exactly the point of why I named it. That reason for that zombie. So the next one I have is the voice I do is Beach Flag Zombie, and of course the Raw Zombie, and Head Zombie Jr., and of course the Pole Venting Zombie. Well, technically, as I said, that there are going to probably be more voices to come, by the way. As long as, like I said, more voices are still going to happen, then yes, I probably will stay in the fact, by the way, that yes, more voices I'll still continue. A lot more are going to be very interesting. Like, very much likely a lot more. So, there's you guys' questions. Like, definitely a lot more voices and a lot more good stuff too. So it's pretty much why I voiced those characters of the sixth channel, by the way. But the next one I'm about to show you guys something is about to be the next interesting voices I also do, by the way, on the horror channel. Exactly. That refers to Dark Devin's channel, which of course that yeah, I really do hate my dark self that's named Dark Devin because I mean for me, yeah, me and him always have fought a lot of my times, by the way. Definitely had fought lots, and I mean, considering lots, and I mean lots of times that me and my dark self, by the way, have been facing each other for a long, long, long time. Because I mean, seriously, I mean, for me, by the way, I was a good guy facing against Dark Demon because I mean, for me, I've actually fought him a lot of times, exactly in many parody videos. Man, those were the good days. Like those were the very good days I did. Like very good stuff. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you guys the only other impressions I do of the characters of like horde killers and creepy pastas, or better yet, many characters I do. So let me go ahead and show you guys anyway for who I actually do very good impressions of, by the way. Is right here in the MET videos. So the characters I do, by the way, is Sonic.exe. Now, for those who didn't know who Sonic.exe still is, by the way, yes, he actually is pretty scary. That I know that most people say that, yeah, he's not scary, but in alternate different realities, that, yeah, in many versions of what he does, yes, he is going to be scarier a lot more every time by different evolutions, by many times. So that is pretty much why Sonic.exe, in fact, is pretty scary as AF. So it's probably why. You know, I do pretty good impression of Sonic.exe because I mean, for me, yeah, it's been a while, man. It's actually been a while since I actually ever done a voice of Sonic.exe for a long time on my horror channel. So that is probably why it has been that long. It has just been super freaking long ever since. Like, it's literally been that long for a long time. Like, for Sonic.exe, by the way, I can say is this, by the way, I'm going to say is this. So, I am Sonic.exe. Or should I say, for Sonic.exe's attempting favorite, also once he says, by the way, he says is, you're too slow. Want to try again? Yeah, the voice I said before I do a very good Sonic.exe impression, yes. That's the actual Sonic.exe voice I did, by the way, when I did this. By saying it's like, I am God. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, folks. Pretty much. Yep. Pretty much. That's how I did that voice anyway, which I definitely did learn the voice, by the way, of Sonic.exe because I actually do a very interesting, good imitation of that voice of Sonic.exe. You know, technically from the game or just a little bit for myself, a little bit from experiencing what that voice actually sounds like. So there's your question. And there's your guys' question. And oh, yes, Dark Devin, by the way, yes. The only funny fact, by the way, that Dark Devin and Sonic.exe have one thing in common, that their voices are the same. Like, the reason why I say this too, again, it's the same thing as back with Dr. Eggman and Dr. Zomboss, is the only one true thing I can give you guys right now is that Sonic.exe and Dark Demon, by the way, have the same voice. Like, they have the same voice as the deep voice they have, by the way, with the same laugh, the same imitating voice that they've always had, by the way. That's actually true. That Sonic.exe and my dark self, by the way, have the same voice with each other. They both have the same voice. Like, I'm being serious. It's true. They have the same voice. That's all I have to say. That yes, it is 100% true. And also, the character I do next, the voice I do exactly is that oh yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look right here. That looks like Lucas added a some emojis by saying it's game over. By the way, was that damn? That's a lot of game over emojis. That's a lot. I'm gonna look on here. It says like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Wow, that's a lot. Like 19 game over emojis. Damn. I was kind of expecting there to be 20 right there in that sentence, but I guess that's fine. But, I say I'm going to say is like, give or take, I'm just going to say is, I'm going to kind of take that option. I'm going to say is like, it is what it is, man. 19 pretty much of game over emojis, pretty much. Like, definitely 19. Yeah. So, anyways, back to what I was saying, by the way, that I was going to say recommendedly earlier, that I actually was going to say this, by the way, that we kind of left off where we were talking about was Freddy Krueger. I do a very good voice of Freddy Krueger, Pennywise, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and yes, Jason Voorhees, by the way, yes, he is my favorite horror killer all time. Like Jason effing Voorhees. Like Jason Voorhees, bro. Seriously, Jason Voorhees. I actually very much likely do a very good Jason Voorhees impression by saying is like like, I do a very good Jason voice. Trust me, I really do. Or it's more like with a background voice than it does. Like, it repeats the same voice in the background or something. I don't know. I think it might be Jason's voice or something like that. Or whatever that will be exactly. But good question. It is a very good question, but yet pretty imitating. So, the next one I do, by the way, is Chucky. Yep, I do a very interesting voice of Chucky. And of course, there's the Twisted Animatronics, by the way. That, yep, Silver the Wolf. And also, here's a funny fact, by the way. And here's a fun fact, by the way, who Silver the Wolf is. So, for those who do not and actually do know who Silver is, Silver the Wolf, by the way, is because here's something interesting of a fun fact for you guys. And a fun fact. Fun fact is that why did I name the wolf animatronic of a twisted animatronic named Silver the Wolf? The reason why I named that character was because I named it because I think I kind of named it by a different YouTube channel that actually was, another FNAF channel, by the way, that actually did a very interesting name exactly for calling like a character named Silver the Wolf is because I think I like the idea of saying is like, am I going to kind of actually stick with the idea or am I going to actually just kind of get a different name for the character? So I decided was like, I'm going to decide to go ahead and keep the name Silver the Wolf. Or in like language speaking, that if I was going to get a different name than Silver, it would have been a different name, something like, shoot. I think it would be named somebody that was named, I think it probably would have been named something like, I don't know. Maybe it would probably been like Terrence. Yeah, Terrence the Wolf. I mean, it probably would be making sense anyway if I didn't have the word silver in that category. Is I probably would get Terrence. That I think it would be like Terrence the Wolf. That I know it won't sound the same anyway, but I think I kind of described saying that I would have like kept a different name if it wasn't silver. So I'd say it was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just take the name that would be Silver the Wolf over than Terrence the Wolf. So that's probably why. And the other voice I do, by the way, is Twisted Freddy, Twisted Bonnie, Twisted Chica, Twisted Foxy. Yep, there's my favorite character as well. Is another favorite Foxy character that is definitely Twisted Foxy, which, oh yeah, that voice of Twisted Foxy is pretty nostalgia. It is pretty nostalgia, though. And the next one is definitely Theodore, the rabbit, by the way, the Twisted Rabbit, and Stanley the Pony, which, I mean, trust me, Stanley the freaking Pony is pretty imitating, and it's pretty terrifying. For those who do not know who Stanley the Pony is, by the way, let me tell you guys something. That, for once, by the way, Stanley the Pony Twisted Animatronic is scary, is a lot more reason to say that, yes, the character is pretty scary than Fedor the Twisted Rabbit, by the way, because I mean, who would be even creepier? If I had to take who would probably would take on a fight, by the way, is that let me say is this. So who would be a creepier twisted animatronic? Would it been Theodore or would it been Stanley? Well, the only character who would be very imitatingly scary for me if I was frightened by an animatronic that would be something, it would actually be Stanley the Pony. Because I mean, for me, I'd just be freaking creeped out. I've been creeped out if I was like, for example, if I had to survive a twisted animatronic that would have been named Stanley the Pony. Oh my god, I would have actually been super terrified by actually seeing a character named Stanley the Pony. Because I mean, for me, by the way, it is literally creepy. Because I mean, I don't know why for some reason, but it makes sense anyway to kind of know why about it. So that is your guys' question. That if I were to say which character would have been creepier, it would definitely been Stanley over than Theodore. So that is probably why in that question, in regard to that question. So there you go. The next character is who I voiced. The next one is Sonic.exe remastered. Well, the main reason I say this again, way back into the up playlist, by the way, of the horror killers, is that okay? So let me give you guys another interesting fact of a dialogue that Sonic.exe remastered is the same voice behind Sonic.exe and my dark self, by the way, that two of those characters, or maybe add three, they sound the same. You know, they sound the same again, by the way, but more scarier as always again, that trust me. You know, however, in this question, yes, however, Sonic.exe remastered, by the way, is actually the same voice as Sonic.exe and my dark self. That is referring to be Dark Devin, by the way, because I know again that sometimes I just like to say my dark self because it kind of sounds like a little bit good, but I think it just sounds like two different similar words by saying is like, oh, Dark Devin's there, or just saying is like Dark Devin anyway. It's just supposed to kind of look a very bit a nostalgia look a little bit by actually me saying the names a little bit by saying is like, oh yeah, that's pretty much why Dark Devin is my utter enemy, by the way, that is known likely to be me, but more even intimidatingly scarier, by the way, that for me, by the way, here's what I can tell you guys that Dark Devin actually wears a suit, by the way, and uses a flashlight that actually was near his chin, by the way, that actually was showing his face, by the way. Yeah, that, by the way, is Dark Devin. For those who didn't know, by the way, yes, it is exactly pretty true that I do not like dark self, by the way, because you know, I'm just trying to say I just didn't like my dark self as referring to Dark Devin because I just don't like Dark Devin because, you know, for me and him, we just have like a rivalry with each other because we just have like a rivalry for some reason because, you know, Dark Devin sometimes may haunt my dreams, but for me, I just survive a lot of times from him anyway. But even if he did try to like go and scare my dreams a little bit off, then it means that he might return anyway at some point just to like imitate me a lot or do whatever exactly. But that's just what I want to let you guys know about. So there's you guys' question for you about Dark Devin anyway. That yes, me and him are rivals. Like we're both rivals with each other anyway. That we just both don't like each other. But you know, we might agree on similar things, but sometimes on other hands on other things too. That some hands are going to be a little full than less being less heavy. So that is probably why Dark Devin and I have different opinions and just say that we might be the same or however, it's just that me and him are similar with each other. We just are like very similar, but most likely Dark Devin is just pretty much likely the one who leads the killers, exactly who like leads most likely the horror killers, the creepy pastas, or the twisted animatronics, or whatever exactly. He kind of runs with the characters, by the way. And yes, he definitely named the horror killers club, by the way. For who actually doesn't know what that actually means, by the way, it means that Dark Devin actually has like teamed up with like similar characters that actually were from like horror killer movies or whatever exactly from like games, movies, that's pretty much the main reason that Dark Devin actually assisted those characters. So that's probably why, for a main reason, of course. The next thing I actually voice is the next voice I do, by the way, is 404 Ever Sans. So for that character, by the way, who actually is 404 Ever Sans, by the way. So for this reason why I actually voice the character name 404 Ever Sans, by the way, it's supposed to be another version of Sans, but more likely it's supposed to be like the version of Sans, but more error like exactly. Like whoever does say like 404, by the way, by the error exactly, it means that the character, by the way, that actually is the same like Sans, but has red eyes and a bit of blue around the face and has like a black skull, by the way, and of course like a black coat or pretty much like a red shirt exactly. Yes, that is exactly what 0404 Air Sans is supposed to be like. So that is pretty much. That's all I gotta say. The next character, by the way, who I voiced next is Tails.exe, by the way. That yes, Tails.exe exactly is that the answer is that yes, I actually do the voice of Tails.exe, by the way, because I mean, for me, I don't know really how much I have to say anything about that, but for Tails.exe, by the way, yes, he is another version of Tails, but even more exe like and a little bit more scary, by the way. That Tails.exe is supposed to be an exe version of Tails, but more likely not the same as Tails, but more likely a bit dementedly, a bit exe like and a bit evil like. So that's probably why Tails.exe more likely kind of looks like a bit of gray and a bit gray and black a little bit. I think he's supposed to kind of look grayish a little bit. So that is probably why. And yes, the same red bloody eyes and the same thing that goes down from the eyes, by the way, from below. Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Now, the next killer, by the way, who I voiced next is Ghostface, by the way. Yep, Ghostface and Tails Doll, exactly, which, yep, Tails Doll and Sonic.exe, by the way, know each other and they always have been in cahoots, by the way. So that's probably why that Tails.exe, or should I say, what I was meaning to say, Tails Doll, that yes, Tails Doll and Sonic.exe got to know each other. So there's your guys' question. So the next one, by the way, what we have, by the way, is Dark Scout and Scout.exe. So for those who do not know who Dark Scout is, by the way, Dark Scout, by the way, is supposed to be another imitating horror killer, by the way. He's supposed to be referring to be as a Team Fortress character, but more likely that he's not like the same scouts, by the way. He's not like the same one, by the way. But Dark Scout, by the way, is supposed to be more likely, normally, a very imitating character and a very somewhat scary character, by the way. That, it's supposed to be a character where he had red eyes, by the way, where he has like those glowing red beady eyes, by the way, that he's supposed to have like glowing red eyes, by the way, and has like a bit of like red powers, by the way, that could actually kill a character, by the way. So normally I've not kind of like studied who Dark Scout even is, by the way. He's supposed to be like a blue scout, by the way, but he's not one of any of those other scouts, to be honest with you guys, in the fortress, by the way. He's supposed to be kind of like a scary imitating character who actually would kill a character, would either be blue or red, that he probably would recently would kill. For those who might go near that character, yeah, I'd say I pretty much would step about like, I don't know, 9 feet away from that character, so that way that the character wouldn't actually try to like imitate the character or would actually come out there and kill the character itself. Which, yeah, I pretty much would stay 9 feet away from Dark Scout, by the way. I probably would stay 9 feet away from that character. So there's your guys' questions. So the next one, by the way, would be the next character would actually would be is Scout.exe. So for the question who actually is Dark Scout.exe, I mean, for the ones who actually do or doesn't know about who Scout.exe is, by the way, the reason who Scout.exe even is, by the way, okay, so Scout.exe, well, for that character, by the way, he's actually one of the blue members, but most likely he is actually even creepier. He's not like the same Scout that he was actually to be, by the way. He's supposed to actually be a replica version of Scout, but more likely he actually has a bit of red glowing eyes and a bit of blackness around the eyes, by the way. It's supposed to be the same thing as Sonic.exe again, but it's supposed to be kind of like a creepier version of Scout.exe where he actually starts being a lot creepier and actually is dementedly creepier. So for those who don't know about Scout.exe, that's your guys' question, and that's your guys' questions about who he is by exactly. And yes, by the way, he does have bloody hands, by the way. That for the example that yeah, Scout.exe, that is actually like a blue version of him. He does have like bloody hands exactly. He has like a bit of bloody fingers. He has a bit of like bloody hands exactly, and a bit of his uniform, by the way. Well, his uniform is a bit bloody, by the way. You guys can see a little bit of like the color, a bit of like dark blue and dark red-ish, a little bit around like the blue, a bit of the uniform that he wears. Yeah, pretty much, and very creepier too. Trust me, very very creepy. So that's who the character is Scout.exe. So there's you guys' questions. And oh yes, before I say anything else, by the way, of another version of me, by the way, so here's you guys the next question. Alright. The next voice I do, by the way, the next character I'm about to say exactly who is that character to be is Devin-Foxy.exe. Now, for those who do not know who that character is, by the way, the version of me, well, the version of me, by the way, is pretty creepy. And for those who do not know that, again, by the way, that I think what I would have to say, by the way, of who Devin-Foxy.exe actually is, by the way, well, let's just say he's a version of me by any chance. He has like a purple eye, by the way. He has like a very scary purple eye, which he does have red blood around his eyelids a little bit down, exactly from the downsides right there. Yes. He does have like one purple eye exactly, that he does have an eye patch, which is supposed to be like the same version as my avatar a little bit, but more likely he's supposed to kind of be demently another creepier version of me, but even scarier and a bit intimidating. Which, I mean, for me, by the way, I've not even faced Devin-Foxy.exe before, but if I were to face him in a parody, then yeah, it probably would be pretty cool to kind of see that in a fight, which would be pretty cool. So anyway, that would be pretty cool, and that would be very awesome to watch. And if anyone would ever actually would want to like have popcorn to see that, yes, I would definitely would easily would actually beat Dark. If I would probably would be defeating Devin-Foxy.exe. Is that yes, I try will pretty much will try to beat him, but if I were to beat him, then yeah, I probably would have tried. So who knows? Like, who really knows, for an example? Like, that would be a very much a good question, exactly. And also, the main question is that no, I think to say that Sonic.exe has not gotten my golden version myself, by the way, but hopefully that wouldn't happen, by the way, but I really don't know. But as I said, there were a lot of stuff to kind of get on with a little bit, like a lot of stuff to kind of do. But as I said, anyway, that well, the answer obviously that well, Dark Devin has not gone after my other version too, which is like my golden version of myself, which is like, yeah, he really didn't go after my golden self yet, but eventually, and a little bit in near likely in the forward time, that yeah, eventually that my dark self is Dark Devin again, would eventually go after my golden version again and might actually corrupt it, by the way, or like using an EXE virus, which yeah, that probably is going to definitely be Sonic.exe again, or my other self again that has like an EXE virus that actually will corrupt like the separate version to like use a replica version to replica it exactly. So that is probably why. In many reasons. So There you go. And yeah, that's all I had to explain about who those other characters are, by the way. So there's you guys' questions. So let's go ahead and show you guys. The next thing I'm about to show you guys already is something about gaming characters. Oh yeah, the characters, by the way, I'm about to show you, by the way, is the characters I'm about to show you guys right now. So the characters, by the way, I do have already is the Five Nights at Freddy's Black Lights animatronics. So for those who do not know who those characters are, by the way, is that for an example that the characters I did name, by the way, in the gaming channel, by the way, that for once, by the way, I do have a gaming channel, by the way, is that, oh yeah, the gaming channel I do have right now on my subscribers, by the way, over there, I do have is 416 subscribers, 416. Like, literally 416. Like, that's awesome, man. That's, like, pretty interesting. So, the characters I'm about to kind of say, anyways, that, hold on. Let me just go ahead and try to do this for a minute. So, let me go ahead and just, like, get to that, anyways. So, anyway, for now, exactly, the characters who I voiced, by the way, is Blue Freddy Fazbear and Green Foxy the Pirate Fox and Purple Foxy the Pirate Fox and Green Cupcake, Pink Freddy Fazbear and Blue Foxy the Pirate Fox. Like, yeah, I mean, for me, by the way, I can say Blue Freddy, Green Foxy, Purple Foxy, Green Cupcake, Pink Freddy, and Blue Foxy. Yeah. So those are probably their names exactly of their black light versions of themselves. And the character I do have, by the way, is Bendy, who I actually do voice is Bendy the Dancing Demon. Like for me, by the way, I do a very good impression of Bendy, by the way. So let me go ahead and try to do Bendy. So I'm gonna say it's like, "Hello, everybody. I'm Bendy the Dancing Demon." That's right. I'm Bendy the Dancing Demon, folks. Yeah. That's pretty much bendy for you guys. That's pretty much bendy for you guys anyway. So there you go. The next character I do have, by the way, is Chef PP. Yeah, definitely from SML though. Definitely from SML. And yeah, the next one is Scorpion, Sub Zero. Yep, I definitely do those voices too, by the way. And the next one is definitely Kenny the Cat. So there you go. Those are the voices I do, by the way, pretty much. And the next one I do want to show you guys something, by the way, on my Duncan Gaming channel is for those who definitely want to subscribe to my backup channel. Go ahead and definitely subscribe to my backup channel. Since I do want to give you guys another good news, by the way, is for those who have not subscribed to my backup channel, by the way. Yes, I do have a backup channel that is exactly the backup channel next to my gaming channel and my gaming channel. So for those who, again, want to subscribe to my backup channel, by the way, that is exactly to be is Blue Devin-Foxy 2 remastered, by the way. Go on absolutely ahead and subscribe to my backup channel. And of course, by the way, that my backup channel does have, in fact, have 559 subscribers. And also, it is about to actually get closer, by the way, to reach the like 600 subscribers, man. Like, once it actually does reach the 600 subscribers, that, by the way, is when that, you know, my backup channel does get to hit, by the way, to get to hit all the way to 600 subscribers, bro. Like, it will get to, like, automatically 600 subscribers. So, there you go. And, yeah, that's probably my explanation for you guys of why it will probably reach up there. So, who knows? Like, who really knows, by the way? Now, in the Duncan Gaming channel, who do I actually voice the characters of, by the way? Well, the characters who I do voice, by the way, is I do voice Duncan, Chris McLean, Chef Hatchet, and pretty much like other voices like Total Drama slash Team Fortress 2 content. Like, that's probably what I do exactly. Is that, for an example, that I actually do Total Drama content and Team Fortress 2 content. That's probably what I do on my gaming channel. I mean, not my gaming channel, my Duncan Gaming channel. That's what I meant to say is Duncan Gaming channel. That's what I meant to say. Blah. All right, give me a second, guys. Give me a second while I go ahead and get myself a drink. So give me a second while I drink pure leaf. So give me a second while I drink this for a minute. Mm. Yeah. So, anyways, I just had to drink some of that, by the way, is some blackberry pure leaf. So that's pretty much why I drink that, by the way, because I know I was getting hungry a little bit. But just to kind of make this a little bit of like a long end of the video or something like that, I'm not really sure. But for exactly and for an example, who knows? And let me go ahead and say this, by the way, is that for those again who definitely enjoyed the live stream, by the way, hope that you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully the live stream doesn't exactly, like, for example, I hope that the live stream doesn't get cut off or anything, but I'll at least try my best to see if it doesn't get cut off anyway at the end of the stream. But yeah, at this point, anyways, hope so, and I hope not. But anyway, I'm about to kind of definitely end the live stream anyway. So for those who definitely enjoyed this live stream, by the way, please be sure to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be definitely be notified so that you won't miss a single video that definitely comes straight onto this channel. So yeah, that's all I want to let you guys know about anyways. So yeah, that's all I want to kind of say for now. But anyways, for now exactly that for exactly think about this for a second. Like I find it so funny, by the way, that the entire likelihood of the facts, by the way, I can definitely see myself, by the way, it's just like, bro, like seriously, it is so funny, man. Like, think about it. Like, for exactly that, my face actually does look like a mirror. Like, my face, for example, does look like a mirror on the screen, by the way. Like, for example, like, I'm about to kind of show you guys what a mirror is actually going to kind of look like exactly. So, here it is for an example. So, here it is. Look at this. Look at me right there, folks. Look at that. Like, oh my god, like a freaking mirror, bro. Like my TV, bro. It's just like literally a mirror at this point. Yeah, for some reason, it does in fact look like a mirror. For some reason, though, that I don't kind of understand why it looked like a mirror, so oof. Like imagine if my TV and my phone were like a mirror at the same time. Like, it has like a reflection. Like it might have like a same reflection for some reason. And I'm like, Jesus. Like that is pretty funny and pretty dope. Like very funny. Like really again pretty funny. So as of now, guys, if you guys definitely like my impressions, by the way, of why, if you guys do enjoy my other channels, by the way, then yes, go ahead and, like I said again, please go on and subscribe to my other channels, by the way, my separate channels, so that way you guys will not consider getting bored by saying it's like, oh, when is your next video going to come out? Well, that's pretty much why I'm telling you guys again to go on ahead and watch my separate channels, by the way, like my plush content and my non-plush content. So that's probably why I'm going to consider telling you guys already is go on and subscribe to my separate channels, including my main channel too, to absolutely subscribe. So that way that will continue to gain more support and gain more subscribers to keep on going and going and going. So there's you guys' questions. And as of now, guys, I'm about to definitely go ahead and end the live stream. So I hope to say that I hope this live stream was a pretty good thing, by the way. I hope the live stream was worth fun and worthwhile to see how awesome it was. So, anyways, this being said, right now, I'm about to end the live stream, and I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this video. And please remember to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified so that way you won't miss a single video that comes straight onto this channel. And also, if you guys have any words to say anything, by the way, or have anything else to say before I get going and end the live stream, then I hope to say it probably much better be now exactly because I might end the live stream or two, but we'll see. But as of now, guys, let's go ahead and check on top fans before we do leave exactly. So let's go ahead and take a look. And I mean, definitely consider taking a look on top fans right here. So let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? So here right now we have on top fans, by the way, exactly is right here that we have is already is Little Nugget GD Roblox, by the way, has 75 XP. Congratulations. Nice. And of course we have right here is another person that had right here was TARNISHEDW7I, by the way, has 75 XP in second place. And Lucas, by the way, has 50 XP. Nice. Congratulations for Lucas, by the way. And also, yeah, consider a job for Lucas, by the way. Absolutely good job for him. So, nice work. And the person who's also in fourth and fifth, by the way, that we have right here, that with 25 XP we have right here, is you know, fourth place and fifth place with 25 XP. Yeah, pretty interesting, I would say. Pretty interesting. And yeah, the next person we have right here is pretty much considered to be in eighth place, and ninth place we have right here. Exactly, we have is for 25 XP again. And also, I'm pretty much am not going to even ask, by the way, considering the fact, anyways, by actually saying is like, oh, like the person who actually was mentioned about crack, by the way, in the beginning of this live stream, by the way. Yeah, as I said again, the conversation again is irrelevant. That's all I said, and that's all I asked again. That conversation is already dead. Like the conversation about the crack scenario is just dead. Okay, it's literally dead, and nobody didn't ask for crack. Like nobody didn't ask for that anyway. Like nobody didn't ask in the freaking chat. Like nobody didn't ask. So the next one we already have right here, basically on eighth place and ninth place, by the way, we have is GUGUMADOR 55 has 25 XP, and then of course we also have is Donnie TITUS 2447, by the way, has 25 XP. Nice. All right. A lot of good XPs, by the way, folks. A lot of good XPs. So, as of now, guys, I'm about to end the live stream. And if you guys enjoy this interesting live stream of part 10, quick chats, by the way, then I hope that you guys enjoy this live stream. And I hope that the live stream didn't get cut, because if the live stream didn't get cut, by the way, that wouldn't be a great thing, because I hope it didn't get cut, by the way, because I mean, I do blame the signal bars that's pretty much being stupid or shittier that actually isn't listening. So in the meantime, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video while that would still go exactly. But for now, it is time to end the live stream, and it is time to get going. So thank you guys so much for watching. As truly has been said, as always, this is Blue Devin-Foxy, Remastered speaking. Remember these 4 things if you're a new person onto this channel is like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, so that way that you will not miss a single video that comes straight on to this freaking amazing first channel, bro. Go on and absolutely subscribe. Anyways, for real, everybody, it is time I end the live stream, and it is time to get going. And I will definitely, in fact, definitely check the live stream out, by the way, of this live stream right now to see if it didn't get cut, by the way, because I mean, yeah, at these times, at these days now, sometimes the live stream may be stupid and may not actually be stupid as it will do, but it depends on how the signal bars act, by the way, of how what the signal bars try to do. When it like moves to 1, 2, 3, it kind of moves up to those numbers, or maybe move up to 4, maybe. I don't know. But the only chance I say already is I really don't know, man. I just really don't kind of know, by the way, but I really don't know. We'll just have to kind of see how the live stream did, for an example, since I might have to kind of check it out anyway. But this being said, thank you, and I'll see you guys for the next time, as always, in the next video. Thank you guys for watching for this interesting hell of a live stream for this morning, all the way to the afternoon. So if you guys enjoyed it, thank you. And I will see you guys next time. And also, I'll try to be like less have less anxiety next time, by the way. I'll have less anxiety next time, because, well, I was kind of getting cold, by the way, for letting you guys know again. I was definitely getting cold, and also have a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit, because for some reason, I don't know why. It kind of did start from the beginning, but for me, in the middle or end, I kind of started having less anxiety, by the way, for some reason. So at least that was a good sign. At least that was a good sign. So at least that was a good sign. All right. For now, everybody, it is time to wrap this up. And also, one last thing before we get going, by the way. One last thing before we get going. All right. So, how was part 10, by the way? How was part 10? All right. So, how was part 10 of Quick Chats, by the way? So, for part 10, I think part 10 was all right, by the way, except that I was having less having less bullshit, by the way, on part 10. I think part 10 was giving, like, less bullshit as I could ever say, by the way. But at least part 10 right now, currently at this time right now, at least this is alright, I guess. This is, like, pretty okay, but so far it's doing pretty okay. As so far, at least, if I'm being not mistaken, that at least the live stream of this of part 10 was being okay. It was, like, guaranteed pretty okay, but so far it was doing all right as I expected. So yeah, it was pretty okay. I'd say it was doing all right. So there's you guys' questions. But as of now, guys, it is definitely time, in fact, to definitely get going, and it is time to sign off anyway. So that being said, go America! Caw! Hell yeah, go freaking America, and definitely Fox. But anyway, as of now, see you guys later. Goodbye, and sign right off.